Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you so much, Chris. And shall we say happy birthday, buddy?
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Turning 29.
Yes.
That's right, again.
Dark.
That 39.
That's what every birthday after 21 looks like. Just you in the dark waving to
Just saying, bowing alone in the dark. All right, welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, April 7th. As you can tell, we love our employers and employees here. I'm Tori here with Lindsay and Al. Let's get started. It's the latest debate in the pandemic. It's the vaccine passport debate. Already a number of colleges, including Brown, Northeastern, Cornell University, all of these are requiring students to be fully vaccinated in order to go back to their campuses this fall. And in New York, they've become the first state to formally launch a digital vaccine passport. It allows people to prove their vaccination status or recent negative COVID test so they can get into events and businesses. But on the other side, and there is a strong other side here, governors including Texas's Greg Abbott are rejecting the idea. He signed an executive order preventing the government from requiring Texans to show proof of vaccinations. Now, it's important to note the federal government and the White House, the Biden administration on a whole, said they will not support requiring Americans to carry vaccine credentials. They are against it completely. So What do you think of this latest controversy? Are vaccine passports a good idea, or do you think they'll be used to discriminate? Lindsay?
I think keeping them in the United States, like to get into businesses, like, okay, every business can decide. If we already started this whole regimen of every state deciding, every city deciding, let's just keep it going. But if you're going to travel internationally at all, you need to follow by that country's rules and keep people safe. And so if you've been willy-nilly making up your own rules in the United States for the last year, you cannot go to Ethiopia, let's say, like you can't right now without the yellow fever shot. You can't go to the UK that's had multiple more problems than the US has had and just say, okay, I'm not getting vaccinated. You have to follow by other countries' rules. So I don't mind this for international travel, but I think in the States we should just let it be up to the States.
Let it be up to the States. Now, there's a sense of showing your papers that's very like anti-American to us, right? And there's a sense of like the Nazi.
It's not.
There is
showing
a
your papers?
Yeah, there's a sense that.
What do you do when you walk into a bar?
You show your ID. I understand.
What about if you walk into a college campus and you need to get in the library?
You show your ID.
Yeah, your papers.
I understand.
You need to do that all the time.
But take into the historical context I get of what I'm saying is the other side feels that's very sort of big brother of I need to know where you're going at all times. What do you say to that for people who say we're totally against it?
I would say this is my friend, his girlfriend lives in Hong Kong. He's talking to me about this a year ago. That's how far ahead they are. But this is how they, if you want to go to get a piece of pizza, you know, or you order Grubhub and they bring it to you. The person needs to have their forehead scanned before they come into your building. This has been going on all over the world. This isn't about you. What's that song? I guess you think this is about you. This isn't. This is about protecting you and protecting the person who you are having any kind of interaction with. Everything is being taken so personally, but I don't think that we realize that we do this for everything. You need an ID to get to a certain part of the airport. You need it to get a beer at a bar. So why is this so different?
Interesting take. Write us in if you guys think the same thing. It's interesting. We also have that for if you're going to certain places in Africa, like you said, you need a typhoid, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, yellow fever. You actually need a card to show that. So it's already in place in certain places.
And also to get into school.
And also to get into school. Thanks, Al, for that. One group that is raking in the benefits from the pandemic, billionaires. Don't we love them? Forbes is out with the annual list of the richest people in the world, and the top spot went to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who has a whopping $177 billion. Tesla CEO Elon Musk jumped into the second spot with $155 billion. A Kardashian is on the list for the very first time, Kim, but she's near the bottom. And this is what's crazy about the year's list. There are a whopping 2,755 billionaires in the world, and together they hold a combined wealth of more than $13 trillion.
I'm not surprised by this.
You're not surprised?
No, because I think as much as people were struggling during the pandemic, there's another story of people that actually learned how to save for the first time. People who were lucky enough to still be working that learned how to like accumulate money because there actually were no options to go spend it frivolously, like on drinking or like on hanging out or like on traveling and things that maybe are leisure activities. So if you think about billionaires and people maybe investing more, a lot of people of color have gotten into the stock market more than they were in historical past years. And so I think that there was a building of wealth over this time if you were lucky enough to be working, have your same salary, and decrease your spending a lot. So knowing billionaires doing the same thing, as well as having people, new investors, invest even in like penny stocks for them, I think that changed everything. And so a lot of people would make a lot of money right now.
And I get that. I have Robinhood, an app that helps you invest, right? I'm not turning into a billionaire or anything. But I do want to say, but what do you think of people like getting money from the government? I feel like a lot of millionaires became billionaires because the government gave them sort of money because of the pandemic. I feel like they made out better than some regular civilians.
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
And with the CEOs, we talk about, I don't know where I saw it written, but somebody said nobody that's a billionaire did that from hard work by themselves. There are hundreds of thousands of people that work for Amazon, and their employees were worked to the bone. Literally like having breakdowns because they were so overworked. But we look at it as like, oh, Jeff Bezos did this. A lot of people help these billionaires get to where they're going to be, including the government. And also, you can make $1 billion, Lindsay, when you don't pay taxes. Yeah, I mean, how much money would you bring in if you've never paid taxes in your life? We let these corporations get away with everything. These CEOs get in trouble. They get some kind of golden parachute where they walk away with $300 million, and we say nothing. It never trickles down. We've been saying that since the Reagan era, trickle-down economics. Where is it? The middle class is gone. It doesn't exist.
But if you poll 10 of your friends, I'm sure most of them bought almost everything over this pandemic on Amazon. So if you have that much frustration with Jeff Bezos and the way that he runs his company, why did everybody spend so much money ordering things to their house all pandemic?
No, we did. And what I'm saying is, Jeff, the Amazon employees should have seen some return on that. And that's why they're trying to unionize right now, because when you cannot unionize, you are just a man or a woman on an island.
You're powerless.
If you speak up, you're just gone.
Right.
And that's why people have different issues on unions, but that's why people want to unionize, because Jeff Bezos takes all the profits, pays none of the taxes, and employees see none of the profits.
We could do a whole show on Amazon and the workers and what's going on there, and I'd love to go deeper on that. I also think a low interest rate on the stock market really helped a lot of people, so interesting. Let us know if you're a billionaire. And let us have some money. All right, Shaquille O'Neal is known as a big man with a big heart. I saw this. I was so happy. That heart was recently on display at a jewelry store in Georgia. Check this out. Shaq was caught on camera paying for a stranger's engagement ring. He overheard the man was trying to make a payment on the ring like in a layaway, but he paid the balance in full. The man apparently initially refused his act of kindness, but Shaq wouldn't take no for an answer. Shaq said he just tries to make people smile every day. He says he does this every day.
Don't you think somebody would be like, no, I'm going to get this for my own what?
No!
There's nothing. You know,
there's nothing.
I wrote on Shaquille's show for a year, so I know him. I haven't talked to him in years, but I knew him a long time. And he's really like this. This is not an act. We would do like these outdoor shoots, and like he'd look over and he'd be like holding a 4-year-old up with his. He loves. He's a man of the people. He's a giant,
gentle
but he
giant.
loves being Shaq. He loves life, and that's really him. So I see that. I'm not surprised at all.
That makes me so happy. What's he doing in that store, huh?
Uh-oh, might be getting spicy for Shaq.
Oh, that's a good point.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was he just wandering in there? Coming up on DBL, America's obsession for true crime is very real, and a new podcast explores some of history's most chilling cases. That's in True Crime Chronicles. And Sharon Osbourne is back on the defensive after parting ways with The Talk. The new drama, next on DBL. Closed captioning.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now, a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. A big shout out to our coworkers tuning in from home during the pandemic, working so hard. Hey, Leo. I miss Leo, don't you? Great guy.
I do.
All right. Well, Sharon Osbourne is disputing Cheryl Underwood's claim that she never apologized to her, and she has receipts. Cheryl broke her silence on her podcast about their heated exchange on The Talk last month. Cheryl said that she was disappointed by the situation. She still loves the Osbournes, but she also claimed that Sharon hasn't reached out since the confrontation. But Sharon, who has since left the show, disagrees. She gave thedailymail.com screenshots of text messages allegedly sent to Cheryl. The first was sent 2 days after the blow-up. In that text, she said she was deeply saddened by what transpired on the show and was sorry for losing her temper, and that she considers Cheryl a genuine friend. Sharon also revealed 2 more texts to Cheryl dated March 15th and 18th, where she said she was thinking about her and sending her love. Receipts.
I just feel like, okay, I understand she's pleading her case. This is her name that she wants people to respect for her brand for life.
Right.
But also, like, this is not an isolated incident. The reason why this escalated so far was because there were several incidents that were reported of you saying things that could be seen as racist or offensive to different people culturally. And so it's just like, if there are all these accounts, that's why you left the show. So still proving that you didn't do, that you redeemed yourself or atoned in that moment is fine. But also, like, your behavior needs to change over a long run. And Cheryl also, I haven't said this before, but I think over the years that you watched The Talk, she allowed this woman to speak to her in this way. And I think that should have probably been checked a long time ago, even off the air. Like, hey, this makes me uncomfortable when you speak this way or when you're condescending. Even if they had a real friendship, that's a real conversation that they probably should have had way earlier than when it got to the point that it got to.
What do you think? Does it make a difference, these texts to you?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Agree with what you're saying. But I believe Cheryl Underwood is saying that Sharon never reached out.
Yeah.
So do these text messages, in your mind, make it seem like she at least reached out? I mean, can these be fabricated? Did she send it to the wrong number? Or do you think Cheryl forgot that she reached out and missed the number? Like, I don't know her phone checking schedule. I don't know. But I understand the dynamic. I understand her leaving her on red in terms of, like, we've said all we need to say. I think you do need to have that in certain relationships. But if she did send these, if she didn't see them, or be good to say, hey, I just saw these.
Because it pokes holes, right? A little bit.
Yeah, it leaves doubt. We saw what we saw, but in terms of, like, the reaching out, it looks like she did. But her not answering is on her. I understand.
Well said, Al. Really, very well said.
But it's hard to tell text messages. Like, it just says Cheryl. What if she changed her sister's name to Cheryl and sent them? Like, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what date these were saying or what. Like, it's not like we can say these are definitely, like, they've been fact checked by someone.
They definitely
right? They're all alleged.
Let us know if those receipts.
Oh, but you don't insult Lindsay and say what's that?
Well, she had a full.
Sorry, cast of Mamma Mia 2. Look at her dress. Look at her.
What? We'll be right back.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. A new podcast is exploring some of the most bone-chilling cases history has seen. Here's a sneak peek in today's True Crime Chronicles.
These are real stories of real people and crimes that are really hard to believe.
These people tend to be what I call stealth killers. They come at you when your back's turned, they come at you in the dark.
In the 80s, something was happening inside a California hospital that brought chills down everyone's spines.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, and all of a sudden they died.
Patients were mysteriously dying, one after one. It was later revealed a respiratory therapist working at Adventist Health Glendale was behind the killings. 32-year-old Efren Zaldivar injected patients with paralytic drugs like morphine. He selected patients who were unconscious or close to death.
The angel of death would be the kind of person who plays God. He selects a group of people or an individual to eliminate them, and this power gives them some kind of a psychological rush.
It took dozens of deaths to finally gather enough evidence and charge Efren. He confessed to 50 murders, but could he be responsible for more? Another 80s real crime mystery that captivated the nation was in September of 1985. A homeowner in Tennessee woke up to find a dead skydiver on his driveway. When police arrived, they found a skydiver wearing a bulletproof vest, infrared night goggles, with a bag.
Investigators found small parcels, each containing what appeared to be a kilo of unprocessed cocaine.
$15 million worth of cocaine, handguns, and thousands of dollars was in that bag. What was thought to be a freak accident actually uncovered something much bigger. The man was Andrew Thornton, a former Army paratrooper and police officer. Andrew was the head member of The Company, an international drug smuggling ring operating in Kentucky. Days after the incident, Andrew's twin-engine Cessna was found crashed into a ridge in North Carolina, along with 99 kilos of cocaine. That opened up an even bigger investigation and questions.
Earlier, Tori and I spoke with the host of this brand new podcast. Take a look.
We are joined by TV and podcast host Stephanie Bauer. So excited to see you. Thank you for coming on DBL.
One episode explores mysterious deaths of patients at a California hospital in the 80s. We later learned that it was a staff member that was actually murdering them. Now, how does this type of killer get away with what's believed to be 200 murders?
Isn't it crazy to think that he can get away with this for so long and at multiple hospitals? And the craziest part is yes, it's in hospitals where patients, trust the doctors and the nurses with their lives. And all of these patients were not in for anything major. For example, one was a hip replacement.
Oh my gosh.
And the person dies. And then there was an anonymous tip from a caller to detectives that led to a love triangle in the hospital, and then they zeroed in on one suspect. Now, the suspect was doing it for so long, and like I said, over different hospitals. So the victim count is, could be the biggest mass murder in U.S. history because it could be up to 200 victims.
Oh, my word. Another episode I want to talk about, Stephanie, dishes on how this skydiving accident unraveled this international drug smuggling ring operation. So what shocked you most about this story?
This is one that happened, right in good old Kentucky, North Carolina area, and you just wouldn't think of it because it's an international drug smuggling case, and we're dealing with alleged police corruption, assassinations, cocaine. This guy is skydiving, and he lands in someone's suburban driveway, and he's got a backpack with night vision goggles, guns, and drugs. And so it unravels this huge true crime case that we go into from beginning to end.
What a crazy, if you
That's
woke
insane.
up to your driveway and you're like, sir, that's crazy.
Now, you've covered huge cases like the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. She went missing in a small Kentucky town. So why were people so drawn to the coverage of this story?
it's sad because when women disappear, and I do a lot of disappearance cases, is there's no answers for the family. And some things seem so clear cut about, for example, who the family thinks did it. And it's just, you wonder, why can't justice be served? For me as a true crime fan, you like and enjoy watching the cases that have been solved, but you almost get this greater thrill from ones that haven't been solved because you almost feel like you can help.
You also got to interview Stephen Avery's family as part of making a murder documentary. What was that like? And I really wanted to know if you think Stephen's innocent or guilty.
Oh gosh, I just got goosebumps when you said that, just reminding me, bringing me back to that time, because that's the case that made me switch into true crime, because I was covering entertainment news at that point. Wow. When I went out there, I became so invested. I just knocked on the Avery's door. I got right off the plane and they let me in. And then I was with the family for a week and interviewing them and really getting to see a lot that wasn't on the documentary. But that's the case that made me get into true crime. And I'm still very much invested in that case. I think we all are waiting for updates all the time.
Do you think he's guilty or not once you sort of finished?
Well, I can't really have an opinion too much. I mean, I have thoughts on certain things that were in the documentary and that were maybe left out, but I think that they'll get into that more when they're, Kathleen Zellner still trying to get him out of prison. But I see both sides.
Yeah. Real Stories Tapes True Crime is out now. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. We're big fans, and we can't wait to listen, Stephanie. Thank you. We'll
Thank
be right
you.
back.
Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times, like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov, 5 on your side.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. So we're going to share some of the most popular financial tips that could actually cause more harm than good. So first off, avoid paying off your mortgage too quickly. You actually could end up in debt or need to apply for a home equity line of credit. Second, that old phrase, real estate will always go up. Don't assume you need to buy the most expensive home to get a greater return. That's not always true since the market is constantly changing. And third, don't get chased the hottest fad just because a stock or company is doing well. It doesn't mean you should hop on. It's good to be financially aware, but do your research before chasing a fad. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. And really quick, I just wanted to say, Mark from Facebook says, people need to learn from history. Needing papers reminds me of a certain country during the 30s and 40s. And people do get that sense of like the Nazism, Russian
So
sense
you say
of like,
that at the DMV? You need papers there?
it's a valid point. Let us know what you guys
I make
think.
a lot of them.
Oh,
I'm really
wow.
good.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye. To a hospital serial killer.
We've had patients that we thought were stable. All of a sudden, they died.
The drama continues between Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood, with Sharon bringing all the receipts, the text messages she leaked to prove she apologized. And everyone's favorite businessman and Shark Tank reality star, Kevin O'Leary, is on DBL Live today.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, April 7th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay, and we have a very special guest joining us remotely. Please welcome friend of the show, Dr. Drew Pinsky. Hey, Doc. So we don't have a lot of time.
How are you guys?
We're doing well.
Okay.
We're glad that you've joined us, and we don't have a lot of time with you, so we want to capitalize on everything that we can speaking to you. So I know that one of the first things that you yourself, Drew, wanted to talk about was something you said on our show. It was last year in February, just as the pandemic was starting to begin. Take a look. So, Dr. Drew, are we overreacting?
Yes. Yes.
I'm hearing this from doctors left and right.
Yes, and we are not overreacting. The press is overreacting, and it makes me furious. The press should not be reporting medical stories as though they know how to report it. If we have a pandemic, I won't know how to tell that we're actually having a pandemic because everything is an emergency. People that are infectious disease specialists, the CDC, the epidemiologists, need to take this very seriously. The press needs to shut up.
All right, Dr. Drew, you did not mince words.
That was my point from the beginning, which is, and if you remember, what I followed with was listen to the CDC, let Dr. Fauci be your North Star. I said that 1,000 times, but somebody put together some video clips of me just saying the shut up part, essentially, and everyone forgot the rest of it. And that became some sort of national scandal because, God forbid, I should say, listen to the CDC. And I'll remind you now, I had an exchange with Alyssa Milano yesterday about this very issue because she brought all this up. And I said, look, if we had listened to the CDC and Dr. Fauci from the beginning, there would have been no lockdowns. There would have been limited school closures. There would have been, it would have been much, there would have been hopefully better testing done. But we didn't listen to the CDC. Every state went their own way. And now we're in a situation where there's profound mental health consequences. So exactly what I was afraid of 1 year ago there, here we are. Now we're dealing with drug overdoses, suicide, depression, people forced into poverty. Well done, everybody. And I'm still suffering the consequences of people claiming that I said something completely different. So thank you for bringing that up, Sam.
Now there's another controversy surrounding your name, Dr. Drew. And so I want us to be able to hash it out here on this show at this table. Vaccine passport. So New York has become the first state to formally launch a digital vaccine passport. It allows people to prove their vaccination status to get into events, to get into businesses. But on the other side, governors, including Texas's Greg Abbott, are rejecting the idea. Even the White House said that the federal government will not require vaccine credentials. You have weighed in on this also. You tweeted, quote, "These vaccine passports segregate people and strip them of their freedom to travel internationally. Vaccinations are important, and I encourage everyone to get the COVID vaccine. But how would you feel if international travel also required other vaccinations?" You followed it up saying this is about vaccine passports creating an outgroup, not whether or not other countries require vaccines. And your tweet definitely lit up Twitter. You brought up Alyssa Milano. She tweeted, "Requiring vaccination proof before travel will save lives. Most of the outgroups will be due to vaccine inequity, not passports." Focus there. And actor Jeffrey Wright responded saying it's about a measure to protect against the spread of infection, particularly critical in countries with already fragile healthcare systems. So Dr. Drew, how do you feel about vaccine passports? And how did your tweet, because I have to be honest with you, you and I always call one another out. When I read that tweet, I was going, what are you thinking, Dr. Drew? What are you saying? Because I know your stance on vaccines. You are staunchly pro-vaccine.
Right, I'm not saying anything. I was not saying anything. I was asking a question, trying to get some engagement to see what people might feel if they were in that outgroup. I am in favor of passports. I'm getting my vaccine tomorrow in spite of being a COVID recovering patient with high levels of antibodies. I didn't say anything about my position. And of course, I know the sky is blue. I know that certain countries require certain kinds of vaccines, but the CDC actually breaks down travel into routine, suggested, and required. And there's very few required vaccines. So my question was, what if suddenly our travel was restricted by other countries, preventing us from moving about by requiring whatever they wanted to require? That was my question. I wasn't taking a position. You want my position? Pro-vaccine, pro-passport. I think it's a good idea. But I've always worried that it created an outgroup. Whenever you create an outgroup, you're creating segregation. And I was worried about that. So I thought, how do other people feel? And people have lost their ability to read. It was a great exercise in fake news because rather than reading what I was saying, the context of asking you a question, how would you feel if you're in the outgroup? It became something totally different because they didn't read it. And then that became the fact, and then that became the fake news. It was a great example of how fake news is generated.
Well, Dr. Drew, speaking of fake news, I wanted to thank you, first of all, for talking to me. I think around this time last year, I was going through something personal. You jumped on a call with me, and we kind of worked our way through it. But my question kind of leads into that. Why continue to put this stuff on social media? Because you're never going to win. No matter how much you explain it, people are always out there to break you down or discredit what you're saying in some sort of way. Why continue to play that game?
I wouldn't call it a game. I feel like as somebody in the media I'm trying to create some digital material, I'm trying to raise attention about that digital material. It's a necessary evil. It's a communication means that we're stuck with. I know for sure that there's going to be landmines, but what's so stunning to me is the most benign. My son actually composed the tweet. We talked about it in the morning. He sort of put it together, hey, what do you think about this? It was the most benign thing we can think of to try to get people to give us a little engagement. You see how locked and loaded people are, and how distorted they've made everything. So you're right. It's a cesspool. I'd love to be out of it. In fact, I find Instagram and TikTok to be much kinder environments. Twitter is I'm going to restrain myself from too strong language. It's a cesspool. It's disgusting. But I'm stuck there, and I have to use it for certain things. But maybe one day I'll get out. Like Chrissy Teigen jumped out. Good for her. It's smart. It becomes beyond disgusting to deal with some of this.
Dr. Drew, people look to you as a doctor and an expert, and so whenever you put that out there, just like we look to Dr. Fauci, if you say something like put a question out there, if Dr. Fauci would have done that, not calling you him, I think it will cause alarm for a lot of people. So seeing you write it as opposed to myself, a talk show host or a pedestrian, I think people are alarmed by you even having that stance and asking that question.
But I didn't take a stance. I was just wondering what people, in saying that there is such a thing as an outgroup from the vaccine. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it's a follow-up to the fact that we compared this to the flu early on, and that was your voice of reason. No,
this has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with it. And by the way, I was comparing it to H1N1, which killed 300,000 people. I was wrong. And I was comparing it to the flu also, so people just could calm down and look at the data and sort of assess it for themselves. That was wrong. Comparing pandemics is the wrong thing to do. But that comparison I made for exactly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Then once we had more data, I updated my prior, much like Dr. Fauci did, adjusted course, listened to him, kept moving forward. 2 weeks. A year and 2 months ago. Come on, everybody. That's what medicine is. We're always updating our prior and adjusting ourselves.
Yeah, Dr. Drew, I feel like you got the raw end of the deal. I mean, I feel like people only hear what you say at one point, and then they don't let you evolve, just like other experts have evolved as well.
But they didn't even, but they're so locked and loaded, Sam, they didn't even hear what I said, which was, my point was, stop listening to the press, listen to the CDC, listen to Dr. Fauci. That was my point.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Drew, you're going to stick around to talk more about COVID-19. Coming up, the new headline that says many survivors are dealing with disturbing mental effects. Do not go away.
Closed captioning provided by...
This is a Smile Direct Club aligner. It's how Smile Direct Club safely and gently straightens your teeth. Wear them as directed.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. Dr. Drew, before we get into mental health and even you being a COVID long hauler, I just want you quickly to button our previous conversation. Knowing that you have been in this controversial water now a couple of times, are you going to be more clear when you tweet, knowing the controversy and the pushback?
I was already trying to be that way, so I don't know how much clearer I can be when I ask a question that I'm asking a question and not making a statement. I don't know how to, I guess I have to, before I ask any questions on Twitter, I must give my opinion, I guess, which is something I'm trying not to do. I'm just going to see what people are thinking.
All right. Well, let's get to this next subject that I know that you have a strong opinion on. So a new study is out saying that 1 in 3 COVID survivors ended up being diagnosed with a brain or psychiatric disorder within 6 months. The most common ones were anxiety and depression. So Dr. Drew, what's your take on this, and what do you think will be the lasting mental health effects of the pandemic on survivors?
When that tape you played of me a year ago, February, this is precisely what I was frightened about. This is what I could see coming. And if you look at the 1918 flu, Dr. Menninger, who was one of the most famous psychiatrists of the 20th century, he felt that by 1920, the majority of the psychiatric symptoms he was seeing was the result of the 1918 flu. And it's the full spectrum of psychopathology. It is not just depression, anxiety, though those predominate now. So you have not only the neurological effects, and even as I speak to you here, right, I've got ringing in my right ear, I have word finding difficulty, my working memory is a little shrunken, my sleep is disturbed. So I have very little long hauler symptoms, but I still have neurological symptoms. They are extremely common. And when you add to that the effect of not working, not going to school, locking down, isolating, substance use, we have a profound problem. And Dr. Fauci himself said, I believe we have a mental health pandemic underway, and he is right.
So, Dr. Drew, I want to ask you, I know you had your own battle with COVID. I had several family members that were battling COVID. What was that like for you? I mean, were you worried about some of these long-lasting effects?
You know, there was less talk about the long hauler syndrome back when I was sick. People ask me, was I afraid during COVID? But I had a 1% fatality rate, so I didn't even contemplate that. This is one of my Instagram lives where I was trying to share with people what I had learned about COVID and what you can do to stay out of the hospital. But I was not worrying about it at the time, but I became aware of the fact that 20% of people do have long hauler symptoms. And I'm going to tell you, they're no fun, they're no fooling, and we should be thinking much more about that and less about the fatality rates.
Yeah, and Dr. Drew, you know, you've been so supportive to my brother-in-law with COVID complications who's awaiting a double lung transplant, and I want to thank you for your advocacy on his behalf. We are hanging in. So, Dr. Drew, thank you for joining us. Be sure to check out drdrew.com for podcasts and streaming shows. You can also find him on TikTok. We appreciate you clarifying your statements, Dr. Drew. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
You bet. Always great to see you guys.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. They call our next guest Mr. Wonderful, despite his reputation as a shark with a pretty mean bite. Please welcome co-host of the hit show of Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. So this is Lindsay. I don't have any Albanese gummy bears for you, but I do have a question. I have to ask you if you saw yesterday's breaking news that Kim Kardashian is officially a billionaire, according to Forbes. So what do you think of this pitch? Like Kim joins Shark Tank or what?
Absolutely. She should come on Shark Tank. We're going to treat her like anybody else. I will personally rip her to pieces.
I dig it. I really do. So it turns out Kim is just one of nearly 700 new billionaires to join the club. That's a huge jump from last year and leaves us with a record-breaking number of billionaires. Kevin, I thought we were in a financial crisis. Help us make sense of this.
No, there's a whole new Digital America 2.0 emerging, and the way it's working, and this could have never been foreseen going through the pandemic, many companies, brands, and people, services, products, during the period of the pandemic, shifted to a direct-to-consumer model where the power of the internet was really felt. Social media really mattered. Customer acquisition was done in a whole new way. From Nike on down, if you looked at Nike's numbers in the last quarter, they did something in 5 months that everybody thought would take 6 years. They're almost 50% direct-to-consumer all around the world at a much higher margin. And so what occurred is, all of a sudden, going into this pandemic, all these new technologies like the one we're talking on right now emerged, and brands like the Kardashian brand and Nike and anybody else that wanted to could reach out directly to consumers and sell them in a brand new way. This is why the stock market is so buoyant right now. There's a new America emerging, and it's going to be very powerful, very efficient, and very much direct to consumer.
Mr. Wonderful, thanks for being here. I'm a big fan. But you're going on your 12th season. Congratulations on that. But you've sat through so many pitches in your career. Are there any that you're just tired of, like they come in and you heard it before and you don't want to hear it anymore? Do any stick out in your head specifically?
Yes, hot sauces, please. No more hot sauces. I don't care if your grandmother made this recipe. I couldn't care less. No more hot sauces.
How about a Jardiniere mixture?
Oh, gosh.
How about a Jardiniere? I got a product coming out, Mr. Wonderful. I'd love to team up with you, but we'll talk about it at a different time.
There he goes, Jardiniere. And I actually strongly believe in your Jardiniere.
Listen.
I know.
Are you
this is
curious?
real.
All I got to know is if you're curious.
It is real.
So, Kevin.
You know, Shark Tank is a remarkable platform. We're taping our 13th season. We've sold billions of dollars worth of products and services over the last decade plus. We've created dozens of new multimillionaires. And we are the essence of the American dream. And that's why the show just keeps going on and on. You just don't know what's going to walk through those doors next. And when you see a great idea, everybody says the same thing. Why didn't I think of that? And that's why it's so magical. I watch it myself every day just to see how the editors cut it down from an hour to 8 minutes. I'm always amazed at their talent.
Now, Kevin, we all know your reputation as the nicest shark on the show. For viewers at home, that's complete sarcasm. But how do you feel about that? Does any fan come up to you and tell you that they're afraid to approach you, or any potential business owners?
You know, my mother taught me something when I was a teenager that I never forgot. And you see it every day. It manifests itself on Shark Tank. She said to me, always tell the truth and you'll never have to remember what you said. That includes the truth about your business. It's the truth about everything. And, you know, think about it. If you can't get past me on Shark Tank and you have a really bad idea and I'm pointing it out to you and I'm trying to save your family's money, wait till the real world gets a hold of you and chews you up and spits you out. And look, the business is binary. Either you make money or you lose money. I'm just telling the truth. I'm the only shark that tells the truth. That's why they call me Mr. Wonderful.
Now, Mr. Wonderful, before we let you go, tell us something about you that would surprise our viewers.
Well, I'm actually warm and cuddly. There's no question about it. You know, I'm a really nice guy, and it's just when it comes to money, I don't care about your feelings. I care about your money. And the other thing to know about me and how kind and nice I am, the only reason Barbara gets the Shark Tank set every year on time is I buy her a new broom.
Oh, my God.
I hope it's a golden diamond broom. Thank you, Kevin O'Leary, for stopping by Daily Blast Live. Make sure to check out Shark Tank, airing Fridays on ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Kevin.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
We'll be right
Thanks,
back.
Mr. Wonderful.
Promotional consideration.
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times. Like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
On DBL, Dancing with the Stars champ Cheryl Burke from Tyra's Takeover to possibly coming back next season. This dancing queen gives us the details live. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Do not miss it. Welcome back to DBL. We have a lot of comments in regard to Dr. Drew and Kevin O'Leary. So Reggie says, glad I could hear Dr. Drew speak. More than 140 characters on Twitter. He deserves to be able to clear his name. And Faith says, Mr. Wonderful really is a nice guy. And Yvonne says, Kevin O'Leary is my favorite Shark Tank host. You know him personally.
Yeah, I met him when I was working my last job, and we ended up being good friends because I brought him gummy bears. And that's what you get for doing some research about what people like, because then we became friends. And he was super sweet after I brought him the gummy bears. He's like going into detail. He really loves candy. He's like, these are most genuine, you know, these have authentic, good organic sugar. And we talked for like 2 hours about candy because we both love it.
Oh, how come, you know, a lot of people think that he's mean, but he's not.
Right, I think it's like a persona. Like if you're gonna double down, especially on like an entertainment show, you gotta stick to it and commit. But I think at the end of the day, he's like a big-hearted teddy bear.
He called himself a cuddly bear.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a straight shooter. He's a straight shooter.
All right, if you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. America's obsession for true crime is very real, and a new podcast explores some of history's most chilling cases. That's in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, new details about Tiger Woods' California car crash. We'll tell you what we know about the investigation. And a big thank you to our co-workers watching from home. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay. Al joins us from home. Hey, Albert. All right, let's get right to it. Hey. So Sharon Osbourne is disputing Cheryl Underwood's claim that she never apologized to her, and she has receipts. Cheryl broke her silence on her podcast about their heated exchange on The Talk last month. Cheryl said while she was disappointed by the situation, she still loves the Osbournes. She also claimed that Sharon hasn't reached out since the confrontation, but Sharon, who has since left the show, disagrees. She gave the DailyMail.com screenshots of text messages allegedly sent to Cheryl. The first was sent 2 days after the blow-up. In that text, she said she was deeply saddened by what transpired on the show and was sorry for losing her temper, and that she considers Cheryl a genuine friend. Sharon also revealed 2 more texts to Cheryl dated March 15th and the 18th, where she said she was thinking about her and sending her her love. What do you think about this, Lindsay?
I get why she wants to clear her name. I totally understand that, but I don't know what the ultimate goal of this is. Is it to prove that nothing else happened on the show? Because I don't think she was fired because of this one incident. It wasn't isolated according to all the reports. You know, there were a lot of things that were done and said that were offensive, both culturally and seen as racist to certain employees. And so I don't know why we're still going with this. It's almost like clear your name, you know, get in touch with Cheryl, but like just it's already like beating a dead horse to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Exactly. I get both sides. Why Sharon wants to clear her name, right? I didn't mean this. I apologize. I feel deeply saddened by this. You don't want, say this is her last job, you don't want people to remember you by what aspired here, right? And I get Cheryl's point of view, like, listen, I love the Osbournes. I'm washing my hands with this. I also have a career to move forward with. So I hope at some point she acknowledges the apology, accepts the apology, and they both can move forward with their lives, hopefully.
Well said. Okay, so Al, the cause of Tiger Woods' car crash in February has been released. Tiger suffered major injuries to his right leg after his SUV crashed down the side of a hill in Southern California. Now, investigators say the crash was caused by excessive speed. The report found that Tiger was traveling between 84 and 87 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone, and that Tiger panicked, quote unquote, and hit the accelerator instead of the brake pedal. But Tiger won't receive any traffic citations because no one witnessed the crash. Investigators previously said there was no evidence that Tiger was under the influence at the time, but his blood was never drawn at the scene, and the sheriff's department never checked his cell phone to see if he was on a call or texting. What do you make of these findings, Al? That's it?
That dog don't hunt, Sam. That dog don't hunt.
I thought he was frozen.
It just
what does
like,
that
let's be
mean?
honest. Look,
That dog
I'll
don't
tell
hunt?
you what that means, Sam. This entire situation with Tiger, let's keep it 100, has been the strangest thing ever. We had what happened in Atlanta, in Georgia, with that police officer then coming out with in terms of the spot shootings, giving us everything that we could possibly not want to know about the suspect. In this case, it seems like we have a sheriff that didn't want to tell us anything. They didn't even want to do an investigation. And then when people asked about the reason for the crash, they said that Tiger's family didn't want to release that. So in the interest of privacy, they're not going to do it. Like, when have you ever heard that? And now they didn't take any blood? You just had a single car accident on a Sunday morning going 85 miles an hour after it's known that you've had substance abuse issues, and they didn't draw any blood? That dog don't hunt.
I'm going to put that dog don't hunt in my pocket and bring it out later on at a party. But listen, I'm going to take the other side, Al. I agree with you, man. Like, they need to do their due diligence and find out what happened. But what if there is nothing to find out? What if he was just late and going a little fast and happened to go off the road? Everyone wants there to be a reason because of his past. There has to be something involved with drugs. There has to be alcohol involved. What if there's not? What if he just had an accident? Is that possible? Nobody wants to hear that answer.
But I think that the police officer or whoever found him first was a little starstruck because he mentioned saying, and then I realized it was Tiger Woods. Like, there's any other Tiger it could possibly be in that part of town. You know, and I just think that, like, of course he didn't take the blood. We're talking about somebody who's very rich and he's just trying to get him to safety so he doesn't pass away.
Right.
Like, that's the thoughts going through his head. So I can understand why he expedited this as opposed to, like, treated him maybe like a civilian, which is not right, but it is what it is.
It's not right, to Al's point.
You can get the toxicology report at any time.
Right.
That, especially any kind of drugs are in your system for a while. And it's so interesting that days were allowed to pass.
Right, and I'm with you, Al, because at the end of the day, if there is someone, and I'm not alleging anything, but if there is someone, let's take Tiger Woods out of this, who did use drugs or alcohol while driving, their license needs to be stripped away. You don't want that person to hurt someone else on the road, hurt your loved one, or hurt themselves. So I think protocol should have been followed. Sam, can I say this really quickly? I don't want to cut you off.
You're talking about hurting people. He cut across two lanes of oncoming traffic.
Right.
If he had hit somebody, everyone's dead.
Exactly.
This is a big deal. This wasn't some kind of rollover crash, and that's why I don't think he needs special treatment.
Right.
Sorry to dominate this.
I'm with you. Protocol should have been followed without a doubt.
That dog don't bark.
Bite. The dog don't bite.
Don't do anything.
The dog don't hunt. Okay, so Steve Harvey, move over. There was a big dust up at the Mrs. Sri Lanka pageant recently. So one woman was announced the winner. There she is getting the crown placed on her head, but shortly after, last year's winner came on stage to say there had been a mistake. Watch.
There's a rule that you all have to be married and not divorced. So, I'm taking my first step saying that the crown goes to the first runner-up.
What? She then takes the crown off the winner's head and places it on the first runner-up. The winner claims that she is not only separated, that she was injured after the crown was forcibly removed, and she's also threatening legal action against the pageant. Officials are now investigating.
Wait, can we watch her walk away real fast? so mad.
She should be mad. This is horrible.
What if she's divorced, though? That's not. She can't be a participant.
She said she wasn't legally divorced. She's separated. First of all, it's a BS rule. Let's be honest about that. Like, give me a break. Like, what century are we in? Second of all, I mean, she's done way more philanthropically. That's what they should be focused on. The fact that she's an activist, the fact that she's been an advocate for so many people, and they're focused on whether or not she's legally divorced.
But it's Mrs. I think you're taking this too serious. I think it's a funny story.
It is funny, but
it's offensive.
I mean, do you want to go there? Do you want to? Should we get fired up about it?
No, I'm saying like the host was.
Okay, stand this.
I feel bad for her.
The host was so matter of fact, like, sorry, you ain't married. I would be so offended. You said she has all these accolades to her name, and then she's got the crown ripped off.
It's for married women.
I know, but that's the
she's separated. She's not divorced. What if they get back together?
That's her story.
What if they get back together?
No, what if she's divorced?
You don't. But who cares? The job of the pageant was to organize those facts and information before they allow people to get to the fourth quarter of the freaking pageant.
You guys, did you see her walk away? And she said
Lindsay, why are you guys talking
because
about
the crown
facts?
was ripped off her head.
Was it not ripped off her head?
It was removed.
This is not about facts, guys. This is not about facts. This is about, I think the woman that took the crown off of her head had some personal vendetta. She knew that woman was going to win, and she wanted to humiliate her right in that moment. And honestly, the person I felt baddest for was the person that got the second runner-up, because then you got to put a crown that's warm from somebody else's head on your head. That's like when you sit in the bus seat after somebody else just got up. It's weird.
It's bad.
The way that she presented her, too, like, that's a funny video.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But disrespectful, but hilarious.
So Shaquille O'Neal is known as a big man with a big heart, and that heart was recently on display at a jewelry store in Georgia. Check this out. Shaq was caught on camera paying for a stranger's engagement ring. He overheard that the man was making a payment on the ring, so he paid the balance in full. The man apparently initially refused his act of kindness, but Shaq would not take no for an answer. Shaq said he just tries to make people smile every day. Now, Al, you know Shaq. You wrote on his show for quite some time. Did this surprise you?
Not at all. You know, just with you reading it, and I forgot to mention this when we talked about this at 10:30 on our other broadcast, but I remember when we were doing one of the last shoots in Orlando. We were shooting on a soundstage in Orlando, and we were switching out the audiences, which took about 30 minutes. And in between that 30 minutes, I was backstage, like getting something to drink or something, and I walked past the room, and Shaq was on a Zoom call before everybody's on Zoom calls, giving this middle school that was in assembly like a pump up, like, you can do this, congratulations on graduating speech. And that wasn't for money. He didn't tell anybody he was doing it. He just does this all the time. He's a true, he's a great guy.
I think that the ring thing, I love Shaq too. Like, he can do nothing wrong, but I don't want my potential husband coming home with a ring from Shaq. I'm sorry, don't give me the ring from Shaq, because now Shaq is my fiance.
But that's like the best story ever. Like, oh, I like that ring.
For the man, maybe. I'm not gonna walk around like, oh, Sam, nice ring, thanks, Shaq bought it. Like, what?
What if you got another addition on your house because of that?
Right. Jeff, are you gonna make this story serious? Shaq bought the ring.
Oh, Mrs. Sri Lanka, how dare you?
Now I'm throwing my cards.
Let's just all throw our cards.
Yeah, who's going to clean all this up?
On DBL, the new podcast that's shining the spotlight on some wicked murders and mysteries. We are talking to the host in today's True Crime Chronicles. And check out all of our coworkers who keep the show running from home. We miss you guys. Thank you all. We will be right back.
Close.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now, a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. A new podcast is exploring some of the most bone-chilling cases history has seen. Here's a sneak peek in today's True Crime Chronicles.
These are real stories of real people and crimes that are really hard to believe.
These people tend to be what I call stealth killers. They come at you when your back's turned, they come at you in the dark.
In the 80s, something was happening inside a California hospital that brought chills down everyone's spines.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, and all of a sudden they died.
Patients were mysteriously dying, one after one. It was later revealed a respiratory therapist working at Adventist Health Glendale was behind the killings. 32-year-old Efren Zaldivar injected patients with paralytic drugs like morphine. He selected patients who were unconscious or close to death.
The angel of death would be the kind of person who plays God. He selects a group of people or an individual to eliminate them, and this power gives them some kind of a psychological rush.
It took dozens of deaths to finally gather enough evidence and charge Efren. He confessed to 50 murders, but could he be responsible for more? Another 80s real crime mystery that captivated the nation was in September of 1985. A homeowner in Tennessee woke up to find a dead skydiver on his driveway. When police arrived, they found a skydiver wearing a bulletproof vest, infrared night goggles, with a bag.
Investigators found small parcels, each containing what appeared to be a kilo of unprocessed cocaine.
$15 million worth of cocaine, handguns, and thousands of dollars was in that bag. What was thought to be a freak accident actually uncovered something much bigger. The man was Andrew Thornton, a former Army paratrooper and police officer. Andrew was the head member of The Company, an international drug smuggling ring operating in Kentucky. Days after the incident, Andrew's twin-engine Cessna was found crashed into a ridge in North Carolina, along with 99 kilos of cocaine. That opened up an even bigger investigation and questions.
Earlier, Tori and I spoke with the host of this brand new podcast. Take a look.
We are joined by TV and podcast host Stephanie Bauer. So excited to see you. Thank you for coming on DBL.
One episode explores mysterious deaths of patients at a California hospital in the 80s. We later learned that it was a staff member that was actually murdering them. Now, how does this type of killer get away with what's believed to be 200 murders?
Isn't it crazy to think that he can get away with this for so long and at multiple hospitals? And the craziest part is yes, it's in hospitals where patients, trust the doctors and the nurses with their lives. And all of these patients were not in for anything major. For example, one was a hip replacement.
Oh my gosh.
And the person dies. And then there was an anonymous tip from a caller two detectives that led to a love triangle in the hospital, and then they zeroed in on one suspect. Now, the suspect was doing it for so long, and like I said, over different hospitals, so the victim count is, could be the biggest mass murder in U.S. history because it could be up to 200 victims.
Oh, my word. Another episode I want to talk about, Stephanie, dishes on how the skydiving accident unraveled this international drug smuggling ring operation. So what shocked you most about this story?
This is one that happened, right in good old Kentucky, North Carolina area, and you just wouldn't think of it because it's an international drug smuggling case, and we're dealing with alleged police corruption, assassinations, cocaine. This guy is skydiving, and he lands in someone's suburban driveway, and he's got a backpack with night vision goggles, guns, and drugs. And so it unravels this huge true crime case that we go into from beginning to end.
What a crazy, if you woke up to your driveway and you're like, sir, that's crazy.
Now, you've covered huge cases like the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. She went missing in a small Kentucky town. So why were people so drawn to the coverage of this story?
It's sad because when women disappear, and I do a lot of disappearance cases, is there's no answers for the family. And some things seem so clear cut about, for example, who the family thinks did it. And it's just, you wonder, why can't justice be served? For me as a true crime fan, you like and enjoy watching the cases that have been solved, but you almost get this greater thrill from ones that haven't been solved because you almost feel like you can help.
You also got to interview Stephen Avery's family as part of making a murder documentary. What was that like? And I really wanted to know if you think Stephen's innocent or guilty.
Oh gosh, I just got goosebumps when you said that, just reminding me, bringing me back to that time, because that's the case that made me switch into true crime, because I was covering entertainment news at that point. Wow. When I went out there, I became so invested. I just knocked on the Avery's door. I got right off the plane and they let me in. And then I was with the family for a week and interviewing them and really getting to see a lot that wasn't on the documentary. But that's the case that made me get into true crime. And I'm still very much invested in that case. I think we all are waiting for updates all the time.
Do you think he's guilty or not once you sort of finished?
Well, I can't really have an opinion too much. I mean, I have thoughts on certain things that were in the documentary and that were maybe left out, but I think that they'll get into that more when they're, Kathleen Zellner's still trying to get him out of prison. But I see both sides.
Yeah. Real Stories, Tapes, True Crime is out now. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. We're big fans, and we can't wait to listen, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back.
We all know that movement is like that.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. We are sharing some of the most popular financial tips that actually could cause more harm than good. First, avoid paying off your mortgage too quickly. You could end up in debt or need to apply for a home equity line of credit. Second, forget the old phrase, real estate will always go up. Don't assume you need to buy the most expensive home to get a greater return. That's not always true since the market is constantly changing. And third, don't chase the hottest fad. Just because a stock or company is doing well doesn't mean that you should hop in. It's good to be financially aware, of course, but do your research before chasing a fad. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. That was like the Facebook stock. Do you remember everybody jumping on it and it just tanked?
Yeah, stocks are weird. But that first one we should clear up a little bit. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay off your mortgage. You don't want that interest rising, but don't pay it all off where you don't have any money to eat lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you have to clarify that. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay it off because you're paying more back in interest than you are for the actual house.
And I think a lot of big people that are rich, that I've had the opportunity to interview, say they never chase the stocks like Bitcoin. They never fall. And so it's always us that find out like 2 years later that are buying it, that make it go up. But if they would have invested it, it would have been way earlier than when we all find out about it.
I still get confused with stocks.
So do I.
Al's here. Al, I didn't even know you were here.
Hey, Al.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, what's going on with the dog?
Jeff, you saying that stuff about the mortgage really helped. I appreciate that because I didn't understand that. So thank you, Jeff.
Or are you being sarcastic?
Yep.
I was being completely serious.
All
I
right,
didn't,
and the
because
next
that didn't make
segment-
any sense. Like, don't pay your mortgage off.
You got to explain what taking the dog out for a walk
That's not
doesn't
what it
bite.
was.
The hunt.
The dog don't
doesn't
hunt.
hunt.
The
You have to
dog
explain
don't
that
hunt.
next.
Yeah, explain it next. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you.
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times. Like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we go, we want to wish a happy birthday to our executive producer, Chris.
What a nice photo.
There he is. We also want to wish a happy belated birthday to our senior executive producer, Bert. Thank you, both of us, for all that you do. We appreciate you. Yes. Okay, Al, you got 20 seconds. Elaborate on the give a dog a bath comment.
Wow, that dog don't hunt. I mean, think about it. Before they had dogs as pets, they used to be used to hunt. And if somebody had a dog that didn't hunt, it was like, why do you have that? Why would you do that? So it just means something doesn't make sense. And the fact that this cop didn't release the toxicology report didn't make sense.
Got it. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
It's a hot topic, drawing a divide between travelers. What do you think of COVID vaccine passports? Are they a good or a bad idea? Dr. Drew Pinsky is live on DBL to weigh in on the debate. In today's True Crime Chronicles, a new podcast explores some of the most bone-chilling cases in history, from the death of a drug-smuggling skydiver to a hospital serial killer.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, all of a sudden they died.
The drama continues between Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood, with Sharon bringing all the receipts, the text messages she leaked to prove she apologized. And everyone's favorite businessman and Shark Tank reality star, Kevin O'Leary, is on DBL Live today.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, April 7th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay, and we have a very special guest joining us remotely. Please welcome friend of the show, Dr. Drew Pinsky. Hey, Doc. So we don't have a lot of time.
How are you guys?
We're doing well.
Okay.
We're glad that you've joined us, and we don't have a lot of time with you, so we want to capitalize on everything that we can speaking to you. So I know that one of the first things that you yourself, Drew, wanted to talk about was something you said on our show. It was last year in February, just as the pandemic was starting to begin. Take a look. So, Dr. Drew, are we overreacting?
Yes. Yes.
I'm hearing this from doctors left and right.
Yes, and we are not overreacting. The press is overreacting, and it makes me furious. The press should not be reporting medical stories as though they know how to report it. If we have a pandemic, I won't know how to tell that we're actually having a pandemic because everything is an emergency. People that are infectious disease specialists, the CDC, the epidemiologists need to take this very seriously. The press needs to shut up.
All right, Dr. Drew, you did not mince words.
That was my point from the beginning, which is, and if you remember, what I followed with was listen to the CDC, let Dr. Fauci be your North Star. I said that 1,000 times, but somebody put together some video clips of me just saying the shut up part, essentially, and everyone forgot the rest of it. And that became some sort of national scandal because, God forbid, I should say, listen to the CDC. And I'll remind you now, I had an exchange with Alyssa Milano yesterday about this very issue because she brought all this up. And I said, look, if we had listened to the CDC and Dr. Fauci from the beginning, there would have been no lockdowns. There would have been limited school closures. There would have been, it would have been much, there would have been hopefully better testing done. But we didn't listen to the CDC. Every state went their own way. And now we're in a situation where there's profound mental health consequences. So exactly what I was afraid of 1 year ago there, here we are. Now we're dealing with drug overdoses, suicide, depression, people forced into poverty. Well done, everybody. And I'm still suffering the consequences of people claiming that I said something completely different. So thank you for bringing that up, Sam.
Now there's another controversy surrounding your name, Dr. Drew. And so I want us to be able to hash it out here on this show at this table. Vaccine passport. So New York has become the first state to formally launch a digital vaccine passport. It allows people to prove their vaccination status to get into events, to get into businesses. But on the other side, governors, including Texas's Greg Abbott, are rejecting the idea. Even the White House said that the federal government will not require vaccine credentials. You have weighed in on this also. You tweeted, quote, "These vaccine passports segregate people and strip them of their freedom to travel internationally. Vaccinations are important, and I encourage everyone to get the COVID vaccine. But how would you feel if international travel also required other vaccinations?" You followed it up saying this is about vaccine passports creating an outgroup, not whether or not other countries require vaccines. And your tweet definitely lit up Twitter. You brought up Alyssa Milano. She tweeted, "Requiring vaccination proof before travel will save lives. Most of the outgroups will be due to vaccine inequity, not passports," focused there. And actor Jeffrey Wright responded saying it's about a measure to protect against the spread of infection, particularly critical in countries with already fragile healthcare systems. So Dr. Drew, how do you feel about vaccine passports? And how did your tweet, because I have to be honest with you, you and I always call one another out. When I read that tweet, I was going, what are you thinking, Dr. Drew? What are you saying? Because I know your stance on vaccines. You are staunchly pro-vaccine.
Right, I'm not saying anything. I was not saying anything. I was asking a question, trying to get some engagement to see what people might feel if they were in that outgroup. I am in favor of passports. I'm getting my vaccine tomorrow in spite of being a COVID recovering patient with high levels of antibodies. I didn't say anything about my position. And of course, I know the sky is blue. I know that certain countries require certain kinds of vaccines, but the CDC actually breaks down travel into routine, suggested, and required. And there's very few required vaccines. So my question was, what if suddenly our travel was restricted by other countries, preventing us from moving about by requiring whatever they wanted to require? That was my question. I wasn't taking a position. You want my position? Pro-vaccine, pro-passport. I think it's a good idea. But I've always worried that it created an outgroup. Whenever you create an outgroup, you're creating segregation. And I was worried about that. So I thought, how do other people feel? And people have lost their ability to read. It was a great exercise in fake news because rather than reading what I was saying, the context of asking you a question, how would you feel if you're in the outgroup? It became something totally different because they didn't read it. And then that became the fact, and that became the fake news. It was a great example of how fake news is generated.
Well, Dr. Drew, speaking of fake news, I wanted to thank you, first of all, for talking to me. I think around this time last year, I was going through something personal. You jumped on a call with me, and we kind of worked our way through it. But my question kind of leads into that. Why continue to put this stuff on social media? Because you're never going to win. No matter how much you explain it, people are always out there to break you down or discredit what you're saying in some sort of way. Why continue to play that game?
I wouldn't call it a game. I feel like as somebody in the media I'm trying to create some digital material, I'm trying to raise attention about that digital material. It's a necessary evil. It's a communication means that we're stuck with. I know for sure that there's going to be landmines, but what's so stunning to me is the most benign. My son actually composed the tweet. We talked about it in the morning. He sort of put it together, hey, what do you think about this? It was the most benign thing we can think of to try to get people to give us a little engagement. You see how locked and loaded people are, how distorted they've made everything. So you're right. It's a cesspool. I'd love to be out of it. In fact, I find Instagram and TikTok to be much kinder environments. Twitter's I'm going to restrain myself from too strong language. It's a cesspool. It's disgusting, but I'm stuck there and I have to use it for certain things. But maybe one day I'll get out. Like, Chrissy Teigen jumped out. Good for her. It's smart. It becomes beyond disgusting to deal with some of this.
Dr. Drew, people look to you as a doctor and an expert. And so whenever you put that out there, just like we look to Dr. Fauci, if you say something like put a question out there, if Dr. Fauci would have done that, not calling you him, I think it will cause alarm for a lot of people. So seeing you write it as opposed to myself, a talk show host or a pedestrian, I think people are alarmed by you even having that stance and asking that question.
But I didn't take a stance. I was just wondering what people, in saying that there is such a thing as an outgroup from the vaccine. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it's a follow-up to the fact that we compared this to the flu early on, and that was your voice of reason. No,
this has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with it. And by the way, I was comparing it to H1N1, which killed 300,000 people. I was wrong. And I was comparing it to the flu also, so people just could calm down and look at the data and sort of assess it for themselves. That was wrong. Comparing pandemics is the wrong thing to do. But that comparison I made for exactly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Then once we had more data, I updated my prior, much like Dr. Fauci did, adjusted course, listened to him, kept moving forward. 2 weeks, a year and 2 months ago. Come on, everybody. That's what medicine is. We're always updating our prior and adjusting ourselves.
Yeah, Dr. Drew, I feel like you got the raw end of the deal. I mean, I feel like people only hear what you say at one point, and then they don't let you evolve, just like other experts have evolved as well.
But they didn't even, but they're so locked and loaded, Sam, they didn't even hear what I said, which was, my point was, stop listening to the press, listen to the CDC, listen to Dr. Fauci. That was my point.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Drew, you're going to stick around to talk more about COVID-19. Coming up, the new headline that says many survivors are dealing with disturbing mental effects. Do not go away.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now, a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. Dr. Drew, before we get into mental health, and even you being a COVID long hauler, I just want you quickly to button our previous conversation. Knowing that you have been in this controversial water now a couple of times, are you going to be more clear when you tweet, knowing the controversy and the pushback?
I was already trying to be that way, so I don't know how much clearer I can be when I ask a question that I'm asking a question and not making a statement. I don't know how to. I guess I have to, before I ask any questions on Twitter, I must give my opinion, I guess, which is something I'm trying not to do. I'm just going to see what people are thinking.
All right. Well, let's get to this next subject that I know that you have a strong opinion on. So a new study is out saying that 1 in 3 COVID survivors ended up being diagnosed with a brain or psychiatric disorder within 6 months. The most common ones were anxiety and depression. So Dr. Drew, what's your take on this, and what do you think will be the lasting mental health effects of the pandemic on survivors?
When that tape you played of me a year ago, February, this is precisely what I was frightened about. This is what I could see coming. And if you look at the 1918 flu, Dr. Menninger, who was one of the most famous psychiatrists of the 20th century, he felt that by 1920, the majority of the psychiatric symptoms he was seeing was the result of the 1918 flu. And it's the full spectrum of psychopathology. It is not just depression, anxiety, though those predominate now. So you have not only the neurological effects, and even as I speak to you here, right, I've got ringing in my right ear, I have word finding difficulty, my working memory is a little shrunken, my sleep is disturbed. So I have very little long hauler symptoms, but I still have neurological symptoms. They are extremely common. And when you add to that the effect of not working, not going to school, locking down, isolating, substance use, we have a profound problem. And Dr. Fauci himself said, I believe we have a mental health pandemic underway, and he is right.
So, Dr. Drew, I want to ask you, I know you had your own battle with COVID. I had several family members that were battling COVID. What was that like for you, and were you worried about some of these long-lasting effects?
You know, there was less talk about the long hauler syndrome back when I was sick. People ask me, was I afraid during COVID? But I had a 1% fatality rate, so I didn't even contemplate that. This is one of my Instagram lives where I was trying to share with people what I had learned about COVID and what you can do to stay out of the hospital. But I was not worrying about it at the time, but I became aware of the fact that 20% of people do have long hauler symptoms. And I'm going to tell you, they're no fun, they're no fooling, and we should be thinking much more about that and less about the fatality rates.
Yeah, and Dr. Drew, you know, you've been so supportive to my brother-in-law with COVID complications who's awaiting a double lung transplant, and I want to thank you for your advocacy on his behalf. We are hanging in. So, Dr. Drew, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out drdrew.com for podcasts and streaming shows. You can also find him on TikTok. We appreciate you clarifying your statements, Dr. Drew. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
You bet. Always great to see you guys.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. They call our next guest Mr. Wonderful, despite his reputation as a shark with a pretty mean bite. Please welcome co-host of the hit show of Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. So this is Lindsay. I don't have any Albanese gummy bears for you, but I do have a question. I have to ask you if you saw yesterday's breaking news that Kim Kardashian is officially a billionaire, according to Forbes. So what do you think of this pitch? Like Kim joined Shark Tank or what?
Absolutely. She should come on Shark Tank. We're going to treat her like anybody else. I will personally rip her to pieces.
I dig it. I really do. So it turns out Kim is just one of nearly 700 new billionaires to join the club. That's a huge jump from last year and leaves us with a record-breaking number of billionaires. Kevin, I thought we were in a financial crisis. Help us make sense of this.
No, there's a whole new Digital America 2.0 emerging, and the way it's working, and this could have never been foreseen going through the pandemic, many companies, brands, and people, services, products, during the period of the pandemic, shifted to a direct-to-consumer model where the power of the internet was really felt. Social media really mattered. Customer acquisition was done in a whole new way. From Nike on down, if you looked at Nike's numbers in the last quarter, they did something in 5 months that everybody thought would take 6 years. They're almost 50% direct-to-consumer all around the world at a much higher margin. And so what occurred is, all of a sudden, going into this pandemic, all these new technologies like the one we're talking on right now emerged, and brands like the Kardashian brand and Nike and anybody else that wanted to could reach out directly to consumers and sell them in a brand new way. This is why the stock market is so buoyant right now. There's a new America emerging, and it's going to be very powerful, very efficient, and very much direct to consumer.
Mr. Wonderful, thanks for being here. I'm a big fan. But you're going on your 12th season. Congratulations on that. But you've sat through so many pitches in your career. Are there any that you're just tired of? Like they come in and you heard it before and you don't want to hear it anymore. Do any stick out in your head specifically?
Yes, hot sauces, please. No more hot sauces. I don't care if your grandmother made this recipe. I couldn't care less. No more hot sauces.
How about a Jardiniere mixture?
Oh, gosh.
How about a Jardiniere? I got a product coming out, Mr. Wonderful. I'd love to team up with you, but we'll talk about it at a different time.
There he goes, Jardiniere. And I actually strongly believe in your Jardiniere.
Listen.
I know.
Are you
this
curious?
is real.
All I got to know is if you're curious.
It is real.
So, Kevin.
You know, Shark Tank is a remarkable platform. We're taping our 13th season. We've sold billions of dollars worth of products and services over the last decade plus. We've created dozens of new multimillionaires. And we are the essence of the American dream. And that's why the show just keeps going on and on. You just don't know what's going to walk through those doors next. And when you see a great idea, everybody says the same thing. Why didn't I think of that? And that's why it's so magical. I just, I watch it myself every day just to see how the editors cut it down from an hour to 8 minutes. I'm always amazed at their talent.
Now, Kevin, we all know your reputation as the nicest shark on the show. For viewers at home, that's complete sarcasm. But how do you feel about that? Does any fan come up to you and tell you that they're afraid to approach you or any potential business owners?
You know, my mother taught me something when I was a teenager that I never forgot. And you see it every day. It manifests itself on Shark Tank. She said to me, always tell the truth and you'll never have to remember what you said. That includes the truth about your business. It's the truth about everything. And think about it. If you can't get past me on Shark Tank and you have a really bad idea and I'm pointing it out to you and I'm trying to save your family's money, wait till the real world gets a hold of you and chews you up and spits you out. And look, the business is binary. Either you make money or you lose money. I'm just telling the truth. I'm the only shark that tells the truth. That's why they call me Mr. Wonderful.
Now, Mr. Wonderful, before we let you go, tell us something about you that would surprise our viewers.
Well, I'm actually warm and cuddly. There's no question about it. I'm a really nice guy. And it's just when it comes to money, I don't care about your feelings. I care about your money. And the other thing to know about me and how kind and nice I am, the only reason Barbara gets the Shark Tank set every year on time is I buy her a new broom.
Oh, my God.
I hope it's a golden diamond broom. Thank you, Kevin O'Leary, for stopping by Daily Blast Live. Make sure to check out Shark Tank, airing Fridays on ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Kevin.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
We'll be right back.
Mr. Wonderful.
Promotional.
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times, like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Tomorrow on DBL, Dancing with the Stars champ Cheryl Burke from Tyra's takeover to possibly coming back next season. This dancing queen gives us the details live. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Do not miss it. Welcome back to DBL. We have a lot of comments in regard to Dr. Drew and Kevin O'Leary. So Reggie says, glad I could hear Dr. Drew speak. More than 140 characters on Twitter. He deserves to be able to clear his name. And Faith says, Mr. Wonderful really is a nice guy. And Yvonne says, Kevin O'Leary is my favorite Shark Tank host. You know him personally.
Yeah, I met him when I was working my last job, and we ended up being good friends because I brought him gummy bears. And that's what you get for doing some research about what people like, because then we became friends. And he was super sweet after I brought him the gummy bears. He's like going into detail. He really loves candy. He's like, these are most genuine, you know, these have authentic, good organic sugar. And we talked for like 2 hours about candy because we both love it.
Oh, how come, you know, a lot of people think that he's mean, but he's not.
Right, I think it's like a persona. Like if you're gonna double down, especially on like an entertainment show, you gotta stick to it and commit. But I think at the end of the day, he's like a big-hearted teddy bear.
He called himself a cuddly bear.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a straight shooter. He's a straight shooter.
All right, if you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. America's obsession for true crime is very real, and a new podcast explores some of history's most chilling cases. That's in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, new details about Tiger Woods' California car crash. We'll tell you what we know about the investigation. And a big thank you to our co-workers watching from home. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay. Al joins us from home. Hey, Albert. All right, let's get right to it. Hey. So Sharon Osbourne is disputing Cheryl Underwood's claim that she never apologized to her, and she has receipts. Cheryl broke her silence on her podcast about their heated exchange on The Talk last month. Cheryl said while she was disappointed by the situation, she still loves the Osbournes. She also claimed that Sharon hasn't reached out since the confrontation, but Sharon, who has since left the show, disagrees. She gave the DailyMail.com screenshots of text messages allegedly sent to Cheryl. The first was sent 2 days after the blow-up. In that text, she said she was deeply saddened by what transpired on the show and was sorry for losing her temper, and that she considers Cheryl a genuine friend. Sharon also revealed 2 more texts to Cheryl dated March 15th and the 18th, where she said she was thinking about her and sending her her love. What do you think about this, Lindsay?
I get why she wants to clear her name. I totally understand that, but I don't know what the ultimate goal of this is. Is it to prove that nothing else happened on the show? Because I don't think she was fired because of this one incident. It wasn't isolated according to all the reports. You know, there were a lot of things that were done and said that were offensive, both culturally and seen as racist to certain employees. And so I don't know why we're still going with this. It's almost like clear your name, you know, get in touch with Cheryl, but like just it's already like beating a dead horse to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Exactly. I get both sides. Why Sharon wants to clear her name, right? I didn't mean this. I apologize. I feel deeply saddened by this. You don't want, say this is her last job, you don't want people to remember you by what aspired here, right? And I get Cheryl's point of view, like, listen, I love the Osbournes. I'm washing my hands with this. I also have a career to move forward with. So I hope at some point she acknowledges the apology, accepts the apology, and they both could move forward with their lives, hopefully.
Well said. Okay, so Al, the cause of Tiger Woods' car crash in February has been released. Tiger suffered major injuries to his right leg after his SUV crashed down the side of a hill in Southern California. Now, investigators say the crash was caused by excessive speed. The report found that Tiger was traveling between 84 and 87 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone, and that Tiger panicked, quote unquote, and hit the accelerator instead of the brake pedal. But Tiger won't receive any traffic citations because no one witnessed the crash. Investigators previously said there was no evidence that Tiger was under the influence at the time, but his blood was never drawn at the scene, and the sheriff's department never checked his cell phone to see if he was on a call or texting. What do you make of these findings, Al? That's it?
That dog don't hunt, Sam. That dog don't hunt.
I thought he was frozen.
What
does that
let's
mean?
be honest. Look,
that dog don't
I'll tell
hunt.
you what that means, Sam. This entire situation with Tiger, let's keep it 100, has been the strangest thing ever. We had what happened in Atlanta, in Georgia, with that police officer then coming out with in terms of the spot shootings, giving us everything that we could possibly not want to know about the suspect. In this case, it seems like we have a sheriff that didn't want to tell us anything. They didn't even want to do an investigation. And then when people asked about the reason for the crash, they said that Tiger's family didn't want to release that. So in the interest of privacy, they're not going to do it. Like, when have you ever heard that? And now they didn't take any blood? You just had a single car accident on a Sunday morning going 85 miles an hour after it's known that you've had substance abuse issues, and they didn't draw any blood? That dog don't hunt.
I'm going to put that dog don't hunt in my pocket and bring it out later on at a party. But listen, I'm going to take the other side, Al. I agree with you, man. Like, they need to do their due diligence and find out what happened. But what if there is nothing to find out? What if he was just late and going a little fast and happened to go off the road? Everyone wants there to be a reason because of his past. There has to be something involved with drugs. There has to be alcohol involved. What if there's not? What if he just had an accident? Is that possible? Nobody wants to hear that answer.
But I think that the police officer or whoever found him first was a little starstruck because he mentioned saying, and then I realized it was Tiger Woods. Like, there's any other Tiger it could possibly be in that part of town. You know, and I just think that, like, of course he didn't take the blood. We're talking about somebody who's very rich and he's just trying to get him to safety so he doesn't pass away.
Right.
Like, that's the thoughts going through his head. So I can understand why he expedited this as opposed to, like, treated him maybe like a civilian, which is not right, but it is what it is.
It's not right, to Al's point.
You can get the toxicology report at any time.
Right.
That, especially any kind of drugs are in your system for a while. And it's so interesting that days were allowed to pass.
Right, and I'm with you, Al, because at the end of the day, if there is someone, and I'm not alleging anything, but if there is someone, let's take Tiger Woods out of this, who did use drugs or alcohol while driving, their license needs to be stripped away. You don't want that person to hurt someone else on the road, hurt your loved one, or hurt themselves. So I think protocol should have been followed. Sam, can I say this really quickly?
I don't want to cut you off. You're talking about hurting people. He cut across two lanes of oncoming traffic.
Right.
If he had hit somebody, everyone's dead.
Exactly.
This is a big deal. This wasn't some kind of rollover crash, and that's why I don't think he needs special treatment.
Right.
Sorry to dominate this.
I'm with you. Protocol should have been followed without a doubt.
That dog don't bark.
Bite. The dog don't bite.
Don't do anything.
The dog don't hunt. Okay, so Steve Harvey, move over. There was a big dust-up at the Mrs. Sri Lanka pageant recently. So one woman was announced the winner. There she is getting the crown placed on her head, but shortly after, last year's winner came on stage to say there had been a mistake. Watch.
There's a rule that you all have to be married and not divorced. So, I'm taking my first step saying that the crown goes to the first runner-up.
She then takes the crown off the winner's head and places it on the first runner-up. The winner claims that she is not only separated, that she was injured after the crown was forcibly removed, and she's also threatening legal action against the pageant. Officials are now investigating.
Wait, can we watch her walk away real fast? She's so mad.
She should be mad. This is horrible. rule.
What if she's divorced, though? That's not. She can't be a participant.
She said she wasn't legally divorced. She's separated. First of all, it's a BS rule. Let's be honest about that. Like, give me a break. Like, what century are we in? Second of all, I mean, she's done way more philanthropically. That's what they should be focused on. The fact that she's an activist, the fact that she's been an advocate for so many people, and they're focused on whether or not she's legally divorced.
But it's Mrs. I think you're taking this too serious. I think it's a funny story.
It is funny, but
it's offensive, though.
I mean, do you want to go there? Do you want to? Should we get fired up about it?
No, I'm saying like the host.
Can't stand this.
I feel
This is crazy. The host was so matter of fact, like, sorry, you ain't married. I would be so offended. You said she has all these accolades to her name, and then she's got the crown ripped off.
It's for married women.
I know, but that's the
she's separated. She's not divorced. What if they get back together?
That's her story.
What if they get back together?
No, what if she's divorced?
You don't. But who cares? The job of the pageant was to organize those facts and information before they allow people to get to the fourth quarter of the freaking pageant.
You guys, did you see her walk away? And she said
Lindsay, why are
she
you
said
guys
her neck hurt
talking
because the
about
crown
facts?
was ripped off her head.
Was it not ripped off her head?
It was removed.
This is not about facts, guys. This is not about facts. This is about, I think the woman that took the crown off of her head had some personal vendetta. She knew that woman was going to win, and she wanted to humiliate her right in that moment. And honestly, the person I felt baddest for was the person that got the second runner-up, because then you got to put a crown that's warm from somebody else's head on your head. That's like when you sit in the bus seat after somebody else just got up. It's weird.
It's bad.
The way that she presented her, too, like, that's a funny video.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But disrespectful, but hilarious.
So Shaquille O'Neal is known as a big man with a big heart, and that heart was recently on display at a jewelry store in Georgia. Check this out. Shaq was caught on camera paying for a stranger's engagement ring. He overheard that the man was making a payment on the ring, so he paid the balance in full. The man apparently initially refused his act of kindness, but Shaq would not take no for an answer. Shaq said he just tries to make people smile every day. Now, Al, you know Shaq. You wrote on his show for quite some time. Did this surprise you?
Not at all. You know, just with you reading it, and I forgot to mention this when we talked about this at 10:30 on our other broadcast, but I remember when we were doing one of the last shoots in Orlando. We were shooting on a soundstage in Orlando, and we were switching out the audiences, which took about 30 minutes. And in between that 30 minutes, I was backstage, like getting something to drink or something, and I walked past the room, and Shaq was on a Zoom call before everybody's on Zoom calls, giving this middle school that was in assembly like a pump up, like, you can do this, congratulations on graduating speech. And that wasn't for money. He didn't tell anybody he was doing it. He just does this all the time. He's a true, he's a great guy.
I think that the ring thing, I love Shaq too. Like, nothing, he can do nothing wrong, but I don't want my potential husband coming home with a ring from Shaq. I'm sorry, don't give me the ring from Shaq, because now Shaq is my fiance.
But that's like the best story ever. Like, oh, I like that ring.
For the man, maybe. I'm not gonna walk around like, oh, Sam, nice ring, thanks, Shaq bought it. Like, what?
What if you got another addition on your house because of that?
Right.
Jeff, are you gonna make this story serious? Shaq bought the ring.
Oh, Mr. Sri Lanka, how dare you?
Now I'm throwing my cards.
Let's just all throw our cards.
Yeah, who's going to clean all this up?
On DBL, the new podcast that's shining the spotlight on some wicked murders and mysteries. We are talking to the host in today's True Crime Chronicles. And check out all of our coworkers who keep the show ready from home. We miss you guys. Thank you all. We will be right back. Close cap.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now, a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. A new podcast is exploring some of the most bone-chilling cases history has seen. Here's a sneak peek in today's True Crime Chronicles.
These are real stories of real people and crimes that are really hard to believe.
These people tend to be what I call stealth killers. They come at you when your back's turned, they come at you in the dark.
In the 80s, something was happening inside a California hospital that brought chills down everyone's spines.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, and all of a sudden they died.
Patients were mysteriously dying, one after one. It was later revealed a respiratory therapist working at Adventist Health Glendale was behind the killings. 32-year-old Efren Zaldivar injected patients with paralytic drugs like morphine. He selected patients who were unconscious or close to death.
The angel of death would be the kind of person who plays God. He selects a group of people or an individual to eliminate them, and this power gives them some kind of a psychological rush.
It took dozens of deaths to finally gather enough evidence and charge Efren. He confessed to 50 murders, but could he be responsible for more? Another 80s real crime mystery that captivated the nation was in September of 1985. A homeowner in Tennessee woke up to find a dead skydiver on his driveway. When police arrived, they found a skydiver wearing a bulletproof vest, infrared night goggles, with a bag.
Investigators found small parcels, each containing what appeared to be a kilo of unprocessed cocaine.
$15 million worth of cocaine, handguns, and thousands of dollars was in that bag. What was thought to be a freak accident actually uncovered something much bigger. The man was Andrew Thornton, a former Army paratrooper and police officer. Andrew was the head member of The Company, an international drug smuggling ring operating in Kentucky. Days after the incident, Andrew's twin-engine Cessna was found crashed into a ridge in North Carolina, along with 99 kilos of cocaine. That opened up an even bigger investigation and questions.
Earlier, Tori and I spoke with the host of this brand new podcast. Take a look.
We are joined by TV and podcast host Stephanie Bauer. So excited to see you. Thank you for coming on DBL.
One episode explores mysterious deaths of patients at a California hospital in the 80s. We later learned that it was a staff member that was actually murdering them. Now, how does this type of killer get away with what's believed to be 200 murders?
Isn't it crazy to think that he could get away with this for so long and at multiple hospitals? And the craziest part is yes, it's in hospitals where patients, trust the doctors and the nurses with their lives. And all of these patients were not in for anything major. For example, one was a hip replacement.
Oh my gosh.
And the person dies. And then there was an anonymous tip from a caller two detectives that led to a love triangle in the hospital, and then they zeroed in on one suspect. Now, the suspect was doing it for so long, and like I said, over different hospitals, so the victim count is, could be the biggest mass murder in U.S. history because it could be up to 200 victims.
Oh, my word. Another episode I want to talk about, Stephanie, dishes on how this skydiving accident unraveled this international drug smuggling ring operation. So what shocked you most about this story?
This is one that happened, right in good old Kentucky, North Carolina area, and you just wouldn't think of it because it's an international drug smuggling case, and we're dealing with alleged police corruption, assassinations, cocaine. This guy is skydiving, and he lands in someone's suburban driveway, and he's got a backpack with night vision goggles, guns, and drugs. And so it unravels this huge true crime case that we go into from beginning to end.
What a crazy, if you woke up to your driveway and you're like, sir, that's crazy.
Now, you've covered huge cases like the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. She went missing in a small Kentucky town. So why were people so drawn to the coverage of this story?
It's sad because when women disappear, and I do a lot of disappearance cases, is there's no answers for the family. And some things seem so clear cut about, for example, who the family thinks did it. And it's just, you wonder, why can't justice be served? For me as a true crime fan, you like and enjoy watching the cases that have been solved, but you almost get this greater thrill from ones that haven't been solved because you almost feel like you can help.
You also got to interview Stephen Avery's family as part of making a murder documentary. What was that like? And I really wanted to know if you think Stephen's innocent or guilty.
Oh gosh, I just got goosebumps when you said that, just reminding me, bringing me back to that time, because that's the case that made me switch into true crime, because I was covering entertainment news at that point. Wow. When I went out there, I became so invested. I just knocked on the Avery's door. I got right off the plane and they let me in. And then I was with the family for a week and interviewing them and really getting to see a lot that wasn't on the documentary. But that's the case that made me get into true crime. And I'm still very much invested in that case. I think we all are waiting for updates all the time.
Do you think he's guilty or not once you sort of finished?
Well, I can't really have an opinion too much. I mean, I have thoughts on certain things that were in the documentary and that were maybe left out, but I think that they'll get into that more when they're, Kathleen Zellner's still trying to get him out of prison. But I see both sides.
Yeah. Real Stories Tapes True Crime is out now. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. We're big fans, and we can't wait to listen, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back.
We all know that movement is like medicine.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. We are sharing some of the most popular financial tips that actually could cause more harm than good. First, avoid paying off your mortgage too quickly. You could end up in debt or need to apply for a home equity line of credit. Second, forget the old phrase, real estate will always go up. Don't assume you need to buy the most expensive home to get a greater return. That's not always true since the market is constantly changing. And third, don't chase the hottest fad. Just because a stock or company is doing well doesn't mean that you should hop in. It's good to be financially aware, of course, but do your research before chasing a fad. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. That was like the Facebook stock. Do you remember everybody jumping on it and it just tanked?
Yeah, stocks are weird. But that first one we should clear up a little bit. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay off your mortgage. You don't want that interest rising, but don't pay it all off where you don't have any money to eat lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you have to clarify that. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay it off because you're paying more back in interest than you are for the actual house.
And I think a lot of big people that are rich, that I had the opportunity to interview, say they never chase the stocks like Bitcoin. They never fall. And so it's always us that find out like 2 years later that are buying it that make it go up. But if they would have invested it, it would have been way earlier than when we all find out about it.
I still get confused with stocks.
So do I.
Al's here. Al, I didn't even know you were here.
Hey, Al.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, but what's going on
honestly,
with the dog?
Jeff, you saying that stuff about the mortgage really helped. I appreciate that because I didn't understand that. So thank you, Jeff.
Were you being sarcastic?
Yep.
I was being completely serious.
All
I
right,
didn't,
and the
because
next
that didn't make
segment-
any sense. Like, don't pay your mortgage off.
You got to explain what taking the dog out for a walk
That's not
doesn't
what it
bite.
was.
The hunting.
The dog don't
doesn't
hunt.
hunt.
The
You have to
dog
explain
don't
that
hunt.
next.
Yeah, explain it next. We'll be right back.
Promotional
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times. Like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we go, we want to wish a happy birthday to our executive producer, Chris.
What a nice photo.
There he is. We also want to wish a happy belated birthday to our senior executive producer, Bert. Thank you, both of us, for all that you do. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Okay, Al, you got 20 seconds. Elaborate on the give a dog a bath comment.
Wow, if that dog don't hunt, I mean, think about it. Before they had dogs as pets, they used to be used to hunt. And if somebody had a dog that didn't hunt, it was like, why do you have that? Why would you do that? So it just means something doesn't make sense. And the fact that this cop didn't release the toxicology report didn't make sense.
Got it. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
On Daily Blast Live.
It's a hot topic, drawing a divide between travelers. What do you think of COVID vaccine passports? Are they a good or a bad idea? Dr. Drew Pinsky is live on DBL to weigh in on the debate. In today's True Crime Chronicles, a new podcast explores some of the most bone-chilling cases in history, from the death of a drug-smuggling skydiver to a hospital serial killer.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, all of a sudden they died.
The drama continues between Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood, with Sharon bringing all the receipts, the text messages she leaked to prove she apologized. And everyone's favorite businessman and Shark Tank reality star, Kevin O'Leary, is on DBL Live today.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, April 7th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay, and we have a very special guest joining us remotely. Please welcome friend of the show, Dr. Drew Pinsky. Hey, Doc. So we don't have a lot of time.
How are you guys?
We're doing well.
Okay.
We're glad that you've joined us, and we don't have a lot of time with you, so we want to capitalize on everything that we can speaking to you. So I know that one of the first things that you yourself, Drew, wanted to talk about was something you said on our show. It was last year in February, just as the pandemic was starting to begin. Take a look. So, Dr. Drew, are we overreacting?
Yes. Yes.
I'm hearing this from doctors left and right.
Yes, and we are not overreacting. The press is overreacting, and it makes me furious. The press should not be reporting medical stories as though they know how to report it. If we have a pandemic, I won't know how to tell that we're actually having a pandemic because everything is an emergency. People that are infectious disease specialists, the CDC, the epidemiologists need to take this very seriously. The press needs to shut up.
All right, Dr. Drew, you did not mince words.
That was my point from the beginning, which is, and if you remember, what I followed with was listen to the CDC, let Dr. Fauci be your North Star. I said that 1,000 times, but somebody put together some video clips of me just saying the shut up part, essentially, and everyone forgot the rest of it. And that became some sort of national scandal because, God forbid, I should say, listen to the CDC. And I'll remind you now, I had an exchange with Alyssa Milano yesterday about this very issue because she brought all this up. And I said, look, if we had listened to the CDC and Dr. Fauci from the beginning, there would have been no lockdowns. There would have been limited school closures. There would have been, it would have been much, there would have been hopefully better testing done. But we didn't listen to the CDC. Every state went their own way. And now we're in a situation where there's profound mental health consequences. So exactly what I was afraid of 1 year ago there, here we are. Now we're dealing with drug overdoses, suicide, depression, people forced into poverty. Well done, everybody. And I'm still suffering the consequences of people claiming that I said something completely different. So thank you for bringing that up, Sam.
Now there's another controversy surrounding your name, Dr. Drew. And so I want us to be able to hash it out here on this show at this table. Vaccine passport. So New York has become the first state to formally launch a digital vaccine passport. It allows people to prove their vaccination status to get into events, to get into businesses. But on the other side, governors, including Texas's Greg Abbott, are rejecting the idea. Even the White House said that the federal government will not require vaccine credentials. You have weighed in on this also. You tweeted, quote, "These vaccine passports segregate people and strip them of their freedom to travel internationally. Vaccinations are important, and I encourage everyone to get the COVID vaccine. But how would you feel if international travel also required other vaccinations?" You followed it up saying this is about vaccine passports creating an outgroup, not whether or not other countries require vaccines. And your tweet definitely lit up Twitter. You brought up Alyssa Milano. She tweeted, "Requiring vaccination proof before travel will save lives. Most of the outgroups will be due to vaccine inequity, not passports." Focus there. And actor Jeffrey Wright responded saying it's about a measure to protect against the spread of infection, particularly critical in countries with already fragile healthcare systems. So Dr. Drew, how do you feel about vaccine passports? And how did your tweet, because I have to be honest with you, you and I always call one another out. When I read that tweet, I was going, what are you thinking, Dr. Drew? What are you saying? Because I know your stance on vaccines. You are staunchly pro-vaccine.
Right, I'm not saying anything. I was not saying anything. I was asking a question, trying to get some engagement to see what people might feel if they were in that outgroup. I am in favor of passports. I'm getting my vaccine tomorrow in spite of being a COVID recovering patient with high levels of antibodies. I didn't say anything about my position. And of course, I know the sky is blue. I know that certain countries require certain kinds of vaccines, but the CDC actually breaks down travel into routine, suggested, and required. And there's very few required vaccines. So my question was, what if suddenly our travel was restricted by other countries, preventing us from moving about by requiring whatever they wanted to require? That was my question. I wasn't taking a position. You want my position? Pro-vaccine, pro-passport. I think it's a good idea. But I've always worried that it created an outgroup. Whenever you create an outgroup, you're creating segregation. And I was worried about that. So I thought, how do other people feel? And people have lost their ability to read. It was a great exercise in fake news because rather than reading what I was saying, the context of asking you a question, how would you feel if you were in the outgroup? It became something totally different because they didn't read it. And then that became the fact, and then that became the fake news. It was a great example of how fake news is generated.
Well, Dr. Drew, speaking of fake news, I wanted to thank you, first of all, for talking to me. I think around this time last year, I was going through something personal. You jumped on a call with me, and we kind of worked our way through it. But my question kind of leads into that. Why continue to put this stuff on social media? Because you're never going to win. No matter how much you explain it, people are always out there to break you down or discredit what you're saying in some sort of way. Why continue to play that game?
I wouldn't call it a game. I feel like as somebody in the media I'm trying to create some digital material, I'm trying to raise attention about that digital material. It's a necessary evil. It's a communication means that we're stuck with. I know for sure that there's going to be landmines, but what's so stunning to me is the most benign. My son actually composed the tweet. We talked about it in the morning. He sort of put it together, hey, what do you think about this? It was the most benign thing we can think of to try to get people to give us a little engagement. You see how locked and loaded people are, how distorted they've made everything. So you're right. It's a cesspool. I'd love to be out of it. In fact, I find Instagram and TikTok to be much kinder environments. Twitter's I'm going to restrain myself from too strong language. It's a cesspool. It's disgusting, but I'm stuck there and I have to use it for certain things. So maybe one day I'll get out. Like, Chrissy Teigen jumped out. Good for her. It's smart. It becomes beyond disgusting to deal with some of this.
Dr. Drew, people look to you as a doctor and an expert. And so whenever you put that out there, just like we look to Dr. Fauci, if you say something like put a question out there, if Dr. Fauci would have done that, not calling you him, I think it will cause alarm for a lot of people. So seeing you write it as opposed to myself, a talk show host or a pedestrian, I think people are alarmed by you even having that stance and asking that question.
But I didn't take a stance. I was just wondering what people, in saying that there is such a thing as an outgroup from the vaccine. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it's a follow-up to the fact that we compared this to the flu early on, and that was your voice of reason.
No, this has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with it. And by the way, I was comparing it to H1N1, which killed 300,000 people. I was wrong. And I was comparing it to the flu also, so people just could calm down and look at the data and sort of assess it for themselves. That was wrong. Comparing pandemics is the wrong thing to do. But that comparison I made for exactly 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Then once we had more data, I updated my prior, much like Dr. Fauci did, adjusted course, listened to him, kept moving forward. 2 weeks. A year and 2 months ago. Come on, everybody. That's what medicine is. We're always updating our prior and adjusting ourselves.
Yeah, Dr. Drew, I feel like you got the raw end of the deal. I mean, I feel like people only hear what you say at one point, and then they don't let you evolve, just like other experts have evolved as well.
But they didn't even. But they're so locked and loaded, Sam. They didn't even hear what I said, which was my point was stop listening to the press, listen to the CDC, listen to Dr. Fauci. That was my point.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Drew, you're going to stick around to talk more about COVID-19. Coming up, the new headline that says many survivors are dealing with disturbing mental effects. Do not go away.
Closed captioning provided.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now, a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. Dr. Drew, before we get into mental health and even you being a COVID long hauler, I just want you quickly to button our previous conversation. Knowing that you have been in this controversial water now a couple of times, are you going to be more clear when you tweet, knowing the controversy and the pushback?
I was already trying to be that way, so I don't know how much clearer I can be when I ask a question that I'm asking a question and not making a statement. I don't know how to. I guess I have to, before I ask any questions on Twitter, I must give my opinion, I guess, which is something I'm trying not to do. I'm just going to see what people are thinking.
All right. Well, let's get to this next subject that I know that you have a strong opinion on. So a new study is out saying that 1 in 3 COVID survivors ended up being diagnosed with a brain or psychiatric disorder within 6 months. The most common ones were anxiety and depression. So Dr. Drew, what's your take on this, and what do you think will be the lasting mental health effects of the pandemic on survivors?
When that tape you played of me a year ago, February, this is precisely what I was frightened about. This is what I could see coming. And if you look at the 1918 flu, Dr. Menninger, who was one of the most famous psychiatrists of the 20th century, he felt that by 1920, the majority of the psychiatric symptoms he was seeing was the result of the 1918 flu. And it's the full spectrum of psychopathology. It is not just depression, anxiety, those predominate now. So you have not only the neurological effects, and even as I speak to you here, right, I've got ringing in my right ear, I have word finding difficulty, my working memory is a little shrunken, my sleep is disturbed. So I have very little long hauler symptoms, but I still have neurological symptoms. They are extremely common. And when you add to that the effect of not working, not going to school, locking down, isolating, substance use, we have a profound problem. And Dr. Fauci himself said, I believe we have a mental health pandemic underway, and he is right.
So, Dr. Drew, I want to ask you, I know you had your own battle with COVID. I had several family members that were battling COVID. What was that like for you? And were you worried about some of these long-lasting effects?
You know, there was less talk about the long hauler syndrome back when I was sick. People ask me, was I afraid during COVID? But I had a 1% fatality rate, so I didn't even contemplate that. This is one of my Instagram lives where I was trying to share with people what I had learned about COVID and what you can do to stay out of the hospital. But I was not worrying about it at the time, but I became aware of the fact that 20% of people do have long hauler symptoms. And I'm going to tell you, they're no fun, they're no fooling, and we should be thinking much more about that and less about the fatality rates.
Yeah, and Dr. Drew, you know, you've been so supportive to my brother-in-law with COVID complications who's awaiting a double lung transplant, and I want to thank you for your advocacy on his behalf. We are hanging in. So, Dr. Drew, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Be sure to check out drdrew.com for podcasts and streaming shows. You can also find him on TikTok. We appreciate you clarifying your statements, Dr. Drew. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
You bet. Always great to see you guys.
Are you?
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. They call our next guest Mr. Wonderful, despite his reputation as a shark with a pretty mean bite. Please welcome co-host of the hit show of Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. So this is Lindsay. I don't have any Albanese gummy bears for you, but I do have a question. I have to ask you if you saw yesterday's breaking news that Kim Kardashian is officially a billionaire, according to Forbes. So what do you think of this pitch? Like Kim joins Shark Tank or what?
Absolutely. She should come on Shark Tank. We're going to treat her like anybody else. I will personally rip her to pieces.
I dig it. I really do. So it turns out Kim is just one of nearly 700 new billionaires to join the club. That's a huge jump from last year and leaves us with a record-breaking number of billionaires. Kevin, I thought we were in a financial crisis. Help us make sense of this.
No, there's a whole new Digital America 2.0 emerging, and the way it's working, and this could have never been foreseen going through the pandemic, many companies, brands, and people, services, products, during the period of the pandemic, shifted to a direct-to-consumer model where the power of the internet was really felt. Social media really mattered. Customer acquisition was done in a whole new way. From Nike on down, if you looked at Nike's numbers in the last quarter, they did something in 5 months that everybody thought would take 6 years. They're almost 50% direct-to-consumer all around the world at a much higher margin. And so what occurred is, all of a sudden, going into this pandemic, all these new technologies like the one we're talking on right now emerged, and brands like the Kardashian brand and Nike and anybody else that wanted to could reach out directly to consumers and sell them in a brand new way. This is why the stock market is so buoyant right now. There's a new America emerging, and it's going to be very powerful, very efficient, and very much direct to consumer.
Mr. Wonderful, thanks for being here. I'm a big fan. But you're going in your 12th season. Congratulations on that. But you've sat through so many pitches in your career. Are there any that you're just tired of? Like they come in and you heard it before and you don't want to hear it anymore. Do any stick out in your head specifically?
Yes, hot sauces, please. No more hot sauces. I don't care if your grandmother made this recipe. I couldn't care less. No more hot sauces.
How about a Jardiniere mixture?
Oh, gosh.
How about a Jardiniere? I got a product coming out, Mr. Wonderful. I'd love to team up with you, but we'll talk about it at a different time.
There he goes, Jardiniere. And I actually strongly believe in your Jardiniere.
Listen.
I know.
Are you
this
curious?
is real.
All I got to know is if you're curious.
It is real.
So, Kevin.
You know, Shark Tank is a remarkable platform. We're taping our 13th season. We've sold billions of dollars worth of products and services over the last decade plus. We've created dozens of new multimillionaires. And we are the essence of the American dream. And that's why the show just keeps going on and on. You just don't know what's going to walk through those doors next. And when you see a great idea, everybody says the same thing. Why didn't I think of that? And that's why it's so magical. I just, I watch it myself every day just to see how the editors cut it down from an hour to 8 minutes. I'm always amazed at their talent.
Now, Kevin, we all know your reputation as the nicest shark on the show. For viewers at home, that's complete sarcasm. But how do you feel about that? Does any fan come up to you and tell you that they're afraid to approach you, or any potential business owners?
You know, my mother taught me something when I was a teenager that I never forgot. And you see it every day. It manifests itself on Shark Tank. She said to me, always tell the truth and you'll never have to remember what you said. That includes the truth about your business. It's the truth about everything. And think about it. If you can't get past me on Shark Tank and you have a really bad idea and I'm pointing it out to you and I'm trying to save your family's money, wait till the real world gets a hold of you and chews you up and spits you out. And look, the business is binary. Either you make money or you lose money. I'm just telling the truth. I'm the only shark that tells the truth. That's why they call me Mr. Wonderful.
Now, Mr. Wonderful, before we let you go, tell us something about you that would surprise our viewers.
Well, I'm actually warm and cuddly. There's no question about it. I'm a really nice guy, and it's just when it comes to money, I don't care about your feelings. I care about your money. And the other thing to know about me and how kind and nice I am, the only reason Barbara gets the Shark Tank set every year on time is I buy her a new broom.
Oh, my God.
I hope it's a golden diamond broom. Thank you, Kevin O'Leary, for stopping by Daily Blast Live. Make sure to check out Shark Tank, airing Fridays on ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Kevin.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be right back.
Mr. Wonderful.
Promotional.
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times. Like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Tomorrow on DBL, Dancing with the Stars champ Cheryl Burke from Tyra's Takeover to possibly coming back next season. This dancing queen gives us the details live. That's tomorrow on DBL.
Do not miss it. Welcome back to DBL. We have a lot of comments in regard to Dr. Drew and Kevin O'Leary. So Reggie says, glad I could hear Dr. Drew speak. More than 140 characters on Twitter. He deserves to be able to clear his name. And Faith says, Mr. Wonderful really is a nice guy. And Yvonne says, Kevin O'Leary is my favorite Shark Tank host. You know him personally.
Yeah, I met him when I was working my last job, and we ended up being good friends because I brought him gummy bears. And that's what you get for doing some research about what people like. Because then we became friends, and he was super sweet after I brought him the gummy bears. He's like going into detail. He really loves candy. He's like, these are most genuine, these have authentic, good organic sugar. And we talked for like 2 hours about candy because we both love it.
Oh, how come, a lot of people think that he's mean, but he's not.
Right, I think it's like a persona. Like if you're gonna double down, especially on like an entertainment show, you gotta stick to it and commit. But I think at the end of the day, he's like a big-hearted teddy bear.
He called himself a cuddly bear.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a straight shooter. He's a straight shooter.
All right, if you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. America's obsession for true crime is very real, and a new podcast explores some of history's most chilling cases. That's in True Crime Chronicles. Plus, new details about Tiger Woods' California car crash. We'll tell you what we know about the investigation. And a big thank you to our co-workers watching from home. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. We will be right back.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Lindsay. Al joins us from home. Hey, Albert. All right, let's get right to it. Hey. So Sharon Osbourne is disputing Cheryl Underwood's claim that she never apologized to her, and she has receipts. Cheryl broke her silence on her podcast about their heated exchange on The Talk last month. Cheryl said while she was disappointed by the situation, she still loves the Osbournes. She also claimed that Sharon hasn't reached out since the confrontation, but Sharon, who has since left the show, disagrees. She gave the DailyMail.com screenshots of text messages allegedly sent to Cheryl. The first was sent 2 days after the blow-up. In that text, she said she was deeply saddened by what transpired on the show and was sorry for losing her temper, and that she considers Cheryl a genuine friend. Sharon also revealed 2 more texts to Cheryl dated March 15th and the 18th, where she said she was thinking about her and sending her her love. What do you think about this, Lindsay?
I get why she wants to clear her name. I totally understand that, but I don't know what the ultimate goal of this is. Is it to prove that nothing else happened on the show? Because I don't think she was fired because of this one incident. It wasn't isolated according to all the reports. You know, there were a lot of things that were done and said that were offensive, both culturally and seen as racist to certain employees. And so I don't know why we're still going with this. It's almost like clear your name, you know, get in touch with Cheryl, but like just it's already like beating a dead horse to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Exactly. I get both sides. Why Sharon wants to clear her name, right? I didn't mean this. I apologize. I feel deeply saddened by this. You don't want, say this is her last job, you don't want people to remember you by what aspired here, right? And I get Cheryl's point of view, like, listen, I love the Osbournes. I'm washing my hands with this. I also have a career to move forward with. So I hope at some point she acknowledges the apology, accepts the apology, and they both could move forward with their lives, hopefully.
Well said. Okay, so Al, the cause of Tiger Woods' car crash in February has been released. Tiger suffered major injuries to his right leg after his SUV crashed down the side of a hill in Southern California. Now, investigators say the crash was caused by excessive speed. The report found that Tiger was traveling between 84 and 87 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone, and that Tiger panicked, quote unquote, and hit the accelerator instead of the brake pedal. But Tiger won't receive any traffic citations because no one witnessed the crash. Investigators previously said there was no evidence that Tiger was under the influence at the time, but his blood was never drawn at the scene, and the sheriff's department never checked his cell phone to see if he was on a call or texting. What do you make of these findings, Al? That's it?
That dog don't hunt, Sam. That dog don't hunt.
I thought he was frozen.
Just
what does that
let's
mean?
be honest. Look,
that dog
I'll
don't
tell
hunt?
you what that means, Sam. This entire situation with Tiger, let's keep it 100, has been the strangest thing ever. We had what happened in Atlanta, in Georgia, with that police officer then coming out with in terms of the spot shootings, giving us everything that we could possibly not want to know about the suspect. In this case, it seems like we have a sheriff that didn't want to tell us anything. They didn't even want to do an investigation. And then when people asked about the reason for the crash, they said that Tiger's family didn't want to release that. So in the interest of privacy, they're not going to do it. Like, when have you ever heard that? And now they didn't take any blood. You just had a single car accident on a Sunday morning going 85 miles an hour after it's known that you've had substance abuse issues, and they didn't draw any blood. That dog don't hunt.
I'm going to put that dog don't hunt in my pocket and bring it out later on at a party. But listen, I'm going to take the other side, Al. I agree with you, man. Like, they need to do their due diligence and find out what happened. But what if there is nothing to find out? What if he was just late and going a little fast and happened to go off the road? Everyone wants there to be a reason because of his past. There has to be something involved with drugs. There has to be alcohol involved. What if there's not? What if he just had an accident? Is that possible? Nobody wants to hear that answer.
But I think that the police officer or whoever found him first was a little starstruck because he mentioned saying, and then I realized it was Tiger Woods. Like, there's any other Tiger it could possibly be in that part of town. And I just think that, like, of course he didn't take the blood. We're talking about somebody who's very rich and he's just trying to get him to safety so he doesn't pass away.
Right.
Like, that's the thoughts going through his head. So I can understand why he expedited this as opposed to, like, treated him maybe like a civilian, which is not right, but it is what it is.
It's not right, to Al's point.
You can get the toxicology report at any time.
Right.
Especially any kind of drugs are in your system for a while. And it's so interesting that days were allowed to pass.
Right, and I'm with you, Al, because at the end of the day, if there is someone, and I'm not alleging anything, but if there is someone, let's take Tiger Woods out of this, who did use drugs or alcohol while driving, their license needs to be stripped away. You don't want that person to hurt someone else on the road, hurt your loved one, or hurt themselves. So I think protocol should have been followed. Sam, can I say this really
quickly? I don't want to cut you off. You're talking about hurting people. He cut across two lanes of oncoming traffic.
Right.
If he had hit somebody, everyone's dead.
Exactly.
This is a big deal. This wasn't some kind of rollover crash, and that's why I don't think he needs special treatment. Right. Sorry to dominate this.
I'm with you. Protocol should have been followed without a doubt.
That dog don't bark.
Bite. The dog don't bite.
Don't do anything.
The dog don't hunt. Okay, so Steve Harvey, move over. There was a big dust-up at the Mrs. Sri Lanka pageant recently. So one woman was announced the winner. There she is getting the crown placed on her head, but shortly after, last year's winner came on stage to say there had been a mistake. Watch.
There's a rule that you all have to be married and not divorced. So, I'm taking my first step saying that the crown goes to the first runner-up.
She then takes the crown off the winner's head and places it on the first runner-up. The winner claims that she is not only separated, that she was injured after the crown was forcibly removed, and she's also threatening legal action against the pageant. Officials are now investigating.
Wait, can we watch her walk away real fast? She's so mad.
She should be mad. This is horrible. horrible.
What if she's divorced, though? That's not. She can't be a participant.
She said she wasn't legally divorced. She's separated. First of all, it's a BS rule. Let's be honest about that. Like, give me a break. Like, what century are we in? Second of all, I mean, she's done way more philanthropically. That's what they should be focused on. The fact that she's an activist, the fact that she's been an advocate for so many people, and they're focused on whether or not she's legally divorced.
But it's Mrs. I think you're taking this too serious. I think it's a funny story.
It is funny, but
it's offensive, though.
I mean, do you want to go there? Do you want to? Should we get fired up about it?
No, I'm saying like the host was.
Okay, stand this.
I feel
This is crazy. The host was so matter of fact, like, sorry, you ain't married. I would be so offended. You said she has all these accolades to her name, and then she's got the crown ripped off.
It's for married women.
I know, but that's the
she's separated. She's not divorced. What if they get back together?
That's her story.
What if they get back together?
No, what if she's divorced?
You don't, but who cares? The job of the pageant was to organize those facts and information before they allow people to get to the fourth quarter of the freaking pageant.
You guys, did you see her walk away? And she said her crown,
why are
she
you
said her
guys
neck hurt
talking
because the
about
crown
facts?
was ripped off her head.
Was it not ripped off her head?
It was removed.
This is not about facts, guys. This is not about facts. This is about, I think the woman that took the crown off of her head had some personal vendetta. She knew that woman was going to win, and she wanted to humiliate her right in that moment. And honestly, the person I felt baddest for was the person that got the second runner-up, because then you got to put a crown that's warm from somebody else's head on your head. That's like when you sit in the bus seat after somebody else just got up. It's weird.
It's bad.
The way that she presented her, too, like, that's a funny video.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But disrespectful, but hilarious.
So Shaquille O'Neal is known as a big man with a big heart, and that heart was recently on display at a jewelry store in Georgia. Check this out. Shaq was caught on camera paying for a stranger's engagement ring. He overheard that the man was making a payment on the ring, so he paid the balance in full. The man apparently initially refused his act of kindness, but Shaq would not take no for an answer. Shaq said he just tries to make people smile every day. Now, Al, you know Shaq. You wrote on his show for quite some time. Did this surprise you?
Not at all. You know, just with you reading it, and I forgot to mention this when we talked about this at 10:30 on our other broadcast, but I remember when we were doing one of the last shoots in Orlando, we were shooting on a soundstage in Orlando, and we were switching out the audiences, which took about 30 minutes. And in between that 30 minutes, I was backstage, like getting something to drink or something, and I walked past the room, and Shaq was on a Zoom call before everybody's on Zoom calls, giving this middle school that was in assembly like a pump up, like, you can do this, congratulations on graduating speech. And that wasn't for money. He didn't tell anybody he was doing it. He just does this all the time. He's a true, he's a great guy.
I think that the ring thing, I love Shaq too. Like, nothing, he can do nothing wrong, but I don't want my potential husband coming home with a ring from Shaq. I'm sorry, don't give me the ring from Shaq, because now Shaq is my fiance.
But that's like the best story ever. Like, oh, I like that ring.
For the man, maybe. I'm not gonna walk around like, oh, Sam, nice ring, thanks, Shaq bought it. Like, what?
What if you got another addition on your house because of that?
Right.
Jeff, are you gonna make this story serious? Shaq bought the ring.
Oh, Mrs. Sri Lanka, how dare you?
Now I'm throwing my cards.
Let's just all throw our cards.
Yeah, who's going to clean all this up?
On DBL, the new podcast that's shining the spotlight on some wicked murders and mysteries. We are talking to the host in today's True Crime Chronicles. And check out all of our coworkers who keep the show running from home. We miss you guys. Thank you all. We will be right back.
During the coronavirus pandemic, we have seen some strange shortages. Now a new one has popped up. Ketchup packets. Let's connect the dots. The Wall Street Journal reports everyone from Long John Silver's to Texas Roadhouse is dealing with a shortage of ketchup packets. The bottled variety, not so much. Kraft Heinz is reportedly aware of the issue and is working to increase supply, adding manufacturing lines that will increase production by about 12 billion more packets a year. So why the shortage? The simple answer is the surge in food delivery. When everyone started dining at home when the pandemic hit, we apparently asked for ketchup with our takeout fries. Even when you do dine in, don't look for a ketchup bottle. Restaurants have turned to the packets for in-house dining to prevent cross-contamination. That doesn't mean demand didn't go up for ketchup bottles as well. Market watchers say sales were up around 15% last year, a possible sign that we were looking for solace in some familiar comfort foods. In the meantime, restaurants and foodies may be forced to test out different brands as Heinz plays catch-up.
Welcome back to DBL. A new podcast is exploring some of the most bone-chilling cases history has seen. Here's a sneak peek in today's True Crime Chronicles.
These are real stories of real people and crimes that are really hard to believe.
These people tend to be what I call stealth killers. They come at you when your back's turned, they come at you in the dark.
In the 80s, something was happening inside a California hospital that brought chills down everyone's spines.
We've had patients that we thought were stable, and all of a sudden they died.
Patients were mysteriously dying, one after one. It was later revealed a respiratory therapist working at Adventist Health Glendale was behind the killings. 32-year-old Efren Zaldivar injected patients with paralytic drugs like morphine. He selected patients who were unconscious or close to death.
The angel of death would be the kind of person who plays God. He selects a group of people or an individual to eliminate them, and this power gives them some kind of a psychological rush.
It took dozens of deaths to finally gather enough evidence and charge Efren. He confessed to 50 murders, but could he be responsible for more? Another 80s real crime mystery that captivated the nation was in September of 1985. A homeowner in Tennessee woke up to find a dead skydiver on his driveway. When police arrived, they found a skydiver wearing a bulletproof vest, infrared night goggles, with a bag.
Investigators found small parcels, each containing what appeared to be a kilo of unprocessed cocaine.
$15 million worth of cocaine, handguns, and thousands of dollars was in that bag. What was thought to be a freak accident actually uncovered something much bigger. The man was Andrew Thornton, a former Army paratrooper and police officer. Andrew was the head member of The Company, an international drug smuggling ring operating in Kentucky. Days after the incident, Andrew's twin-engine Cessna was found crashed into a ridge in North Carolina, along with 99 kilos of cocaine. That opened up an even bigger investigation and questions.
Earlier, Tori and I spoke with the host of this brand new podcast. Take a look.
We are joined by TV and podcast host Stephanie Bauer. So excited to see you. Thank you for coming on DBL.
One episode explores mysterious deaths of patients at a California hospital in the 80s. We later learned that it was a staff member that was actually murdering them. Now, how does this type of killer get away with what's believed to be 200 murders?
Isn't it crazy to think that he can get away with this for so long and at multiple hospitals? And the craziest part is yes, it's in hospitals where patients, trust the doctors and the nurses with their lives. And all of these patients were not in for anything major. For example, one was a hip replacement.
Oh my gosh.
And the person dies. And then there was an anonymous tip from a caller two detectives that led to a love triangle in the hospital, and then they zeroed in on one suspect. Now, the suspect was doing it for so long, and like I said, over different hospitals. So the victim count is, could be the biggest mass murder in U.S. history because it could be up to 200 victims.
Oh, my word. Another episode I want to talk about, Stephanie, dishes on how this skydiving accident unraveled this international drug smuggling ring operation. So what shocked you most about this story?
This is one that happened, right in good old Kentucky, North Carolina area, and you just wouldn't think of it because it's an international drug smuggling case, and we're dealing with alleged police corruption, assassinations, cocaine. This guy is skydiving, and he lands in someone's suburban driveway, and he's got a backpack with night vision goggles, guns, and drugs. And so it unravels this huge true crime case that we go into from beginning to end.
What a crazy, if you woke up to your driveway and you're like, sir, like, that's crazy.
Now, you've covered huge cases like the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. She went missing in a small Kentucky town. So why were people so drawn to the coverage of this story?
It's sad because when women disappear, and I do a lot of disappearance cases, is there's no answers for the family. And some things seem so clear cut about, for example, who the family thinks did it. And it's just, you wonder, why can't justice be served? For me as a true crime fan, you like and enjoy watching the cases that have been solved, but you almost get this greater thrill from ones that haven't been solved because you almost feel like you can help.
You also got to interview Stephen Avery's family as part of making a murder documentary. What was that like? And I really wanted to know if you think Stephen's innocent or guilty.
Oh gosh, I just got goosebumps when you said that, just reminding me, bringing me back to that time, because that's the case that made me switch into true crime, because I was covering entertainment news at that point. Wow. When I went out there, I became so invested. I just knocked on the Avery's door. I got right off the plane and they let me in. And then I was with the family for a week and interviewing them and really getting to see a lot that wasn't on the documentary. But that's the case that made me get into true crime. And I'm still very much invested in that case. I think we all are waiting for updates all the time.
Do you think he's guilty or not once you sort of finished?
Well, I can't really have an opinion too much. I mean, I have thoughts on certain things that were in the documentary and that were maybe left out, but I think that they'll get into that more when they're, Kathleen Zellner's still trying to get him out of prison. But I see both sides.
Yeah. Real Stories Tapes True Crime is out now. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. We're big fans, and we can't wait to listen, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back.
A study put out by the Centers for Disease Control found that gender discrepancy. Out of all the people reporting side effects from COVID-19 vaccines, 79% were women. Most of the side effects are not severe and show that your body is building protection against the virus. Most people reported things like pain around the injection area, chills, headaches, and fatigue. Researchers are not sure why women are more affected, but they do have some theories. They range from women being more likely to get vaccinated to possibly being more comfortable reporting symptoms. In fact, according to that same CDC study, women account for just over 60% of all coronavirus vaccinations. But there could be another reason. It is well documented that men and women's immune systems function differently. It's why more women suffer from autoimmune diseases and have more reactions to other vaccines, including the flu vaccine. But before women get concerned, doctors do say these reactions are because their T cells respond better and could actually produce a better antiviral response.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for a Security Alert, sponsored by LifeLock. We are sharing some of the most popular financial tips that actually could cause more harm than good. First, avoid paying off your mortgage too quickly. You could end up in debt or need to apply for a home equity line of credit. Second, forget the old phrase, real estate will always go up. Don't assume you need to buy the most expensive home to get a greater return. That's not always true, since the market is constantly changing. And third, don't chase the hottest fad. Just because a stock or company is doing well doesn't mean that you should hop in. It's good to be financially aware, of course, but do your research before chasing a fad. When it comes to your financial assets, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-439-9017 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. That was like the Facebook stock. Do you remember everybody jumping on it and it just tanked?
Yeah, stocks are weird. But that first one we should clear up a little bit. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay off your mortgage. You don't want that interest rising, but don't pay it all off where you don't have any money to eat lunch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's the
you have to
difference.
clarify that. If you could pay off your mortgage, pay it off, because you're paying more back in interest than you are for the actual house.
And I think a lot of big people that are rich, that I had the opportunity to interview, say they never chase the stocks like Bitcoin. They never fall. And so it's always us that find out like 2 years later that are buying it that make it go up. But if they would have invested it, it would have been way earlier than when we all find out about it.
I still get confused with stocks.
So do I.
Al's here. Al, I didn't even know you were here.
Hey, Al.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, but what's going on with the dog?
Jeff, you saying that stuff about the mortgage really helped. I appreciate that, because I didn't understand that. So thank you, Jeff.
Were you being sarcastic?
Yep.
I was being completely serious.
All
I
right,
didn't,
and the
because
next
that didn't make
segment-
any sense. Like, don't pay your mortgage off.
You got to explain what taking the dog out for a walk
That's not
doesn't
what it
bite.
was.
The hunting.
The dog don't
doesn't
hunt.
hunt.
You
The
have to
dog
explain
don't
that
hunt.
next.
Yeah, explain it next. We'll be right back.
The Verify team goes to the experts to get you the facts about statistics that might be floating around on social media. You may have seen tweets about reported deaths or miscarriages being linked to something called VAERS. So let's verify. What is VAERS and what can it tell us? Our sources are the VAERS website, as well as two vaccine experts, Dr. Arnold Monto and Dr. Koser Talat.
It's very messy data.
Let's start with Dr. Talat, who says this system has some major shortcomings.
And the same person can be reported multiple times. Like the patient might report it, their physician might report it, the pharmacist who gave them the vaccine might report it.
Right now, according to the CDC, more than 167 million doses have been administered nationwide. And as of the latest data, processed on March 26th, there were about 233,000 reports in VAERS, including about 1,800 reports of death and 66 reports of spontaneous abortion or miscarriages. Now, this is obviously some pretty scary sounding data, but our experts emphasize that just because something is reported doesn't mean it's connected to the vaccine.
When you see numbers from VAERS, they are following vaccination, but not necessarily caused by vaccination.
The FDA actually requires that vaccination providers report any death after COVID vaccinations to VAERS. The CDC writing, quote, "To date, VAERS has not detected patterns in cause of death that would indicate a safety problem with COVID-19 vaccines."
You can't draw any conclusions from looking at VAERS.
And if you need any more convincing on this, just look at the disclaimer on the VAERS website. Quote, "VAERS reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable." So we can verify that posting stats from VAERS without context is just straight up misleading. With your Verify, I'm Evan Cosby.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we go, we want to wish a happy birthday to our executive producer, Chris.
What a nice photo.
There he is. We also want to wish a happy belated birthday to our senior executive producer, Bert. Thank you, both of us, for all that you do. We appreciate you. Okay, Al, you got 20 seconds. Elaborate on the give a dog a bath comment.
Wow, that dog don't hunt. I mean, think about it. Before they had dogs as pets, they used to be used to hunt. And if somebody had a dog that didn't hunt, it was like, why do you have that? Why would you do that? So it just means something doesn't make sense. And the fact that this cop didn't release the toxicology report didn't make sense.
Got it. Bye, guys. Have a good one.